Searching for the suspect, going door to door to apartments, knocking on doors. They are searching for 41-year-old Markeith Lloyd.
That's David Williams with Fox 35 TV. A sheriff's deputy died in a crash during this search for Lloyd, who's also wanted in the murder of his pregnant girlfriend. They're celebrating in South Carolina.
Watson, touchdown!
That won Clemson the national championship, a TD with 1 second left on ESPN to finish off a comeback in college football's title game. Clemson beat Alabama 35-31. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Skies are cloudy. We have some rain and light sleet across the area in spots, especially in far western sections of the listening area around Chicago and through northern Illinois. Winds are south at 15 miles an hour. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott on AM 560 The Answer. This morning, classes at suburban St. Charles East High School are canceled after around 800 students out of about 2,500 at that school called in sick yesterday. District spokesman Jim Blaney says the symptoms many of the teens are experiencing are consistent with a stomach virus. Cleaning crews yesterday hit the school, bleached and disinfected classrooms. The issues began Saturday night when the boys' varsity basketball game was postponed because 10 members of the team were too ill to play. President Barack Obama returning to the city that launched his unlikely political career to give one final speech. He'll deliver in Chicago a parting plea to Americans not to lose faith in their future, according to those closest to the president. President's speech before thousands this evening is his last chance to try and define what his presidency meant for America. CTA adding extra service for the presidential farewell address. Longer Green Line trains will be operating between 6 p.m. and 1 a.m. Number 3 King drive buses will run more frequently as well. The Shedd Aquarium, Adler Planetarium, and the Field Museum are closing early. The latest attempt at a state budget is on hold in Springfield. Leaders in the Illinois Senate yesterday introduced, then abandoned a plan they hope would lead to a new state budget. The idea was to trade major business reforms for a small tax increase and other pieces that lawmakers have asked to trade for years, everything from new casinos to a bailout for the Chicago teacher pension system and a higher minimum wage. Meantime, an Illinois man is now charged with aggravated battery and criminal trespass. Police say he breached security at O'Hare. He's been ordered held without bail. 21-year-old Malik Neal of Joliet made his first court appearance Monday in Cook County. Illinois' largest employees union says it has made significant concessions in hopes of resuming contract negotiations, including a wage freeze. The State Council of AFSCME issued a letter Monday saying they'd also pay higher health care premiums. The union had previously called for an 8.5% increase over 4 years. The State Labor Board has ruled negotiations between Governor Rauner and the union were officially at an impasse, meaning the governor can legally impose whatever contract conditions that he chooses. Chicago sports, Oklahoma City beat the Bulls 109-94. Jimmy Butler, hampered by the flu, had just a single point. Dwayne Wade scored 22. Yes, Clemson did beat Alabama in the college football national playoff game. And the news this morning is a service of Burger King breakfast. What's the best place to have your breakfast? How about on a warm croissant? Right now at Burger King, get 2 Croissantwich breakfast sandwiches for just $4. A light, flaky croissant piled high with savory sausage or delicious, thick-cut smoked bacon. 2 Croissantwich, $4. Only at Burger King. Price and participation vary. 5:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
For me, it never has been about Trump.
The Joe Walsh Show.
For me, it's about the ideas, it's about the issues, it's about the movement. Go ahead and cut whatever deal you want, but when it comes to people in this country illegally, you ran your campaign, sir, on that issue. You can't walk that back.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And we want to say thanks to each and every one of you who helped us to reach our goal of providing food for a year and water for life for 2,000 kids and counting in Haiti and Guatemala.
Your generosity means that these children will have a shot at living a happy and healthy life despite the enormous challenges they face.
And just because the Christmas season is over and we're starting a new year, that doesn't mean the need has gone away. You can still make a difference in the life of a child by making a $50 donation to Food for the Poor. Food for the Poor is one of America's largest and most trusted charities. Since 1982, they've been helping the poorest of the poor by directing resources directly to those in the greatest need.
Just call 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-FOOD, or go to 560theanswer.com, keyword food.
And thanks to the many business benefactors who supported this campaign, when you hear their ads on the radio station this year, we'd ask that you support their businesses as a way of thanking them for their generosity.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
Hi, Amy Jacobson here. You know, the best home improvement decision I ever made was to call CertaPro Painters. No joke. Last spring, their trained, talented painters magically reformed my porch. Property values actually went up. But now that winter is set in, let's get your interior painting done, and CertaPro Painters are the only ones to call. You know, CertaPro Painters is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year, and we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. When they come into your home, they are so quiet they won't wake a baby, and guess what? The best part is they clean up after themselves. So with this new year, you should refresh and renew your living space. Book your interior painting project today. For a free estimate, call our good friends over there at CertaPro at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's Certa with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com. And we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. I'm glad I called them. Each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
509, check of the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Michael. A couple of earlier issues have cleared up. On northbound Lakeshore Drive, there was a crash at Randolph. That's been cleared. There was one on the outbound Kennedy at Montrose. That quickly was moved out of the way. And a couple of pedestrian incidents during the overnight hours in the south suburbs, but that's all been cleared up as well. You will have, like mentioned, heavy security around McCormick Place tonight with the president down for his speech. They'll have a number of street closures in that area. And some hockey traffic on the west side. The Blackhawks hosting the Wings. Right now, despite some weather both here and around the country, we're not seeing really almost any problems as far as the airports go. Very few flight delays. Traffic is also a service of Burger King's Breakfast. What's the best place to have your breakfast? How about on a warm croissant? Right now at Burger King, get 2 croissant-sandwich breakfast sandwiches, which is $4. A light flaky croissant piled high with savory sausage or delicious thick-cut smoked bacon. 2 croissant sandwich for $4 only at Burger King. Price and participation vary. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here is our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, windy and milder with periods of rain, high 45. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low 25. A thick cloud cover for tomorrow with a shower in the afternoon, high of 42. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
35 at O'Hare, 37 along Chicago's lakefront, 38 at Midway. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Military Mortgage Talk with host Tony Gatliff. Sunday mornings at 9 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're going to get to Clemson. What a game.
Oh, wasn't
That's
that
one for the ages.
That was the best. Somebody said on the radio this morning, it's the first time that Clemson's beat Alabama in 100 plus years, 114 or 115 years.
Yeah.
I think they were due.
I'm
just saying.
First the Cubs, now Alabama.
Yeah,
or
but
Clemson vis-a-vis Alabama.
You were even saying yesterday that you didn't think Clemson.
I didn't think-
Nobody thought Clemson was going to win.
I didn't think Clemson had a chance. I thought Alabama's team this year was actually better than the Alabama team that beat Clemson last year. But before we get to that, I
Yeah.
just want to set the table so our friends in the listening audience understand. We've got a little bit of a crisis
What's
in
going on?
in the studio today.
Also, we're flying without a navigational system and can't seem to change course.
Miss, are you telling us absolutely everything?
Not exactly. We're also out of coffee.
Yeah, we have a broken coffee maker here.
Yeah.
And
Did you see what happened yesterday
No.
during our show? I guess Mr. Coffee Maker over there the water kept running.
Where's Joe DiMaggio when
Joe
you need
DiMaggio,
him?
Yeah, and and it was all over the floor. And Debbie was in there, and Mary were in there, and they said, "Who did this?" And I said, "I don't think I did. I'm very
We got a
responsible."
code red in the break room.
Klinger, we got a stage 5 in the break room.
Yeah, so this
yeah.
show could easily go off the rails without coffee. Thankfully, I think you intervened, and Carlos from the Dunkin' Donuts on Elston and Addison has intervened.
Carlos, we love Carlos. Yeah, I went over there today and said, "I have a really big order today." So what can I do? I said, "We need a box of Joe." A box of Joe.
Yeah, stat.
And then they threw in all these creamers. I said, "We don't need creamers. It'll just go in the garbage. We'll just take, the nice cups." And then they threw in a box of Munchkins. Huh?
Nice.
25. But here's the
That's
thing.
how Carlos rolls.
You boys have to share.
No,
There's 4
I
men
get the
here.
powdered sugar ones.
But don't put your meat hooks all
I
over
get the
it.
powdered sugar ones.
Oh, you're calling
I'm
that?
calling rank.
Mike Scott, which ones do you want?
I have no idea. What's in?
Well, it's a box of Munchkins. You
You
get
know,
the
it's
chocolate
the-
balls, the blueberry balls.
Stop saying balls.
Stop.
Say
Glazed.
Say
Donut.
munchkins.
I'm sorry, Munchkins.
Yeah, say munch. Use the word. Use the word munchkins.
Oh, yeah, donut hole sounds a lot better.
It is, but if it's Tim Hortons, it's Tim Tim's.
Ooh, it smells so good.
Tim Hortons. What are you,
Yeah,
Canadian?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying they call them different things in different parts of the world.
Well,
There's a few powdered
the
ones.
Canadians.
I
know. They're
I
mine.
see 3. Yeah.
Like the Louisiana Purchase, I will gladly cede to you the powdered donuts.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I just wanted to apprise people because this is a little bit touch and go this morning with the broken coffee maker, which basically is the glue that keeps this whole thing together. So,
But really quick, back to the coffee maker. So I suggested to Debbie, there's a surveillance camera in there. Let's see who broke the coffee maker.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't human error. It was the machine just
Machine just
malfunctioned.
died. Yeah.
that
But
doesn't
it kept the water
that doesn't
kept
sound
going.
like the Bunomatic that I know.
Made in Springfield, Illinois. by the
Yeah,
way.
that's
Yeah.
right.
That's so
no,
funny.
everything's
But I
breaking
said,
down
walk
in
in here
Illinois.
and you're drinking tea.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
do you
know.
have a croissant with it?
I've been
too?
high tea like the Queen.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, back to Clemson.
Yeah.
Did you stay up for the game with Peyton and Eli?
I did.
Oh,
Because
nice.
I was up anyway.
They got
So I
special
think-
dispensation to stay up to watch the game.
Yeah, they finished their homework. Everybody went to their soccer, basketball, blah, 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 practice, and we made chili and watched the game.
You know,
That quarterback for Alabama, he's a beast. I mean, I know he won the Heisman. but
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
No, he did not win the Heisman.
He didn't win the. Oh, he was
No.
up for the Heisman.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson, the quarterback for Clemson, should have won the Heisman, but actually Lamar Jackson from Louisville won the
that's
Heisman
right.
this year.
That's right.
you
But
know,
that kid's
for the
a
first half of his season, but
beast.
No, I mean,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
Jalen Hurts is he's going to be a great quarterback, and he actually had a pretty decent game. He's a little not accurate with the, but anyway,
he's a freshman.
No, I know, true freshman. He would have been the first true freshman since to win the national championship as a true freshman quarterback. Since he
Can
used-
I have something? Can I get a vowel? Can I get a conference?
as an undergrad? Well, it was the it would now be called the Big 12.
Right. Okay.
It was he wore a fur coat as an undergrad.
Joe Namath.
He was Joe Namath. No, He was.
He wore fur coats.
That's
And he
true.
hit on Susie Corbett.
He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated as the poster boy for corruption at this school and in college football. It was the 80s.
I'm sorry. At that decade, I was really self-absorbed.
No. I'm glad you've matured so much in the intervening 30 years.
Can I get a vowel?
No.
Can I get a mascot of the school? Can anybody help me out? 312-642-5600.
I'll give you the school. You won't. I bet you won't know the quarterback.
You know what? Don't be degrading.
Yeah.
Don't be condescending. It's not even 5:30.
Oklahoma.
Oh, Barry Switzer.
He was the coach.
Oh. Ah. Ugh. Can I go to the magic box?
Jameel Holloway is what you wanted to say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Jamil.
Now, but going back to Clemson, Clemson has been instrumental in the storied championship runs in Chicago sports.
Because, Refrigerator Perry.
Refrigerator Perry,
Yes.
85 Bears. Of course,
Thank you.
Michael Dean Perry didn't play for the Bears, but the two brothers.
Okay.
And a certain Chicago Bull, Horace Grant.
Oh, that's right. Horace Grant went to
Yeah.
Clemson.
Oh, how
So did
about that?
Nancy Odell. Bet you didn't know them apples.
I didn't. I don't know the colleges where kind of newsreaders went because I assume none of them went to college.
Oh, but you see who made the winning catch last night?
Yeah.
This guy Hunter,
Yeah.
who was a walk-on. So I'm
Rufus.
hoping he'll get the award.
The
Because the greater or the
Brandon Burlsworth
Brandon
Award.
Burlsworth Award.
Yeah, that's
One of the best walk- that's what I
good.
thought yesterday.
Yeah, that's pretty good. The other thing that's cool about Clemson is the coach, Dabo Swinney, not just because he has the best name in college football.
Dabo Swinney. How
It's
do you
right.
get a name like
Dabo
Dabo?
Swinney.
You come out of your mom's womb. Hey, he's so cute. Let's call him Dabo. Oh, look at the Dabo.
Let me ask you a question about names of coaches. I'm going to do a professional versus college comparison. I'm going to ask you a question, just as a preference question.
Okay.
Dabo Swinney or Detroit Lions offensive coordinator Jim Bob Cooter?
Ooh.
Which name do you like better?
I would like Dabo Swinney.
Yeah, Jim Bob Cooter's pretty good.
And didn't Dabo Swinney play for Alabama?
He was a walk-on.
Yeah. Wide receiver or something
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
So that must have been bittersweet for him.
Well, and Dabo Swinney.
Dabo! We got to.
This is going to replace our Robbie Mook. Dabo
Swinney.
Dabo Swinney. So Dabo Swinney at a press conference earlier in the year was asked about the whole kneel down phenomenon that was occurring after Kaepernick, and it spread like a virus to college football. Listen to Dabo Swinney, the coach of national champion Clemson Tigers, talking about the whole protest movement in a roundabout way, but kind of elevated the conversation, which is pretty impressive for a footballer.
He changed the world through
talking about Martin Luther King
in the face of hate. He changed the world through peace in the face of violence. He changed the world through education in the face of ignorance. And he changed the world through Jesus. And
the
boy,
J-word.
That's politically incorrect. But that's what he did. And it's amazing when we don't learn from our past, you know, how you can repeat your mistakes. And,
yeah, so
I wanted to hear more. Why'd you stop
well, there'll
it?
be more. But Tim talking about Martin Luther King, you know, the comparison without making it overt. There's the form of protest that we see from spoiled brat ignoramuses like Colin Kaepernick, and frankly, some college football players as well. And then there's that model of civil disobedience to highlight injustice, to seek redress for wrongs. Very interesting. Dabo Swinney went on to opine on the topic.
There's thousands of perfect traffic stops, a lot of good men, a lot of good women, but those don't get the stories. But there's some bad ones, too. There's some criminals that wear badges. Guess what? There's some criminals that work in the media. There's some criminals that are football coaches.
Criminals.
There's some criminals that are politicians.
Ooh.
There are criminals that work
Mostly.
in churches.
Oh.
I think we have a sin problem in the world. That's what I think. It's so easy to say we have a race problem. It's so easy. No, we got a sin problem. That's just my opinion. That's Dabo's opinion. And I think the answer to our problems is exactly where they were for Martin Luther King when he changed the world. Love, peace, education, tolerance of others, Jesus. That's what I think.
The great coaches like the John Woodens, the Coach K's, even though he's a little bit left. They're not just tacticians of the sport. They're leaders of men and women. Pat Summitt.
Yeah.
They're leaders of people, and that's what Dabo Swinney is, and that's why it's so nice to see him win a national championship.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, forecast for today. It's warm out there. It's going to be windy and a lot milder, but this light snow sleet that we're experiencing right now, light rain, is going to turn into all rain by later this morning, a high of 45 degrees. Then tomorrow, a thick cloud cover with a shower in the afternoon, a high of 42. Let's get those travel times, slick roadways. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Maybe a challenging commute. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. 8094 eastbound. The exit to southbound Calumet Avenue in Munster, that's closed right now due to a crash. Southbound Tri-State at 41. Had a crash blocking 2 left lanes. Westbound Adams Tollway at Gulf Road. Crash in the right lane. These have all happened in the last few minutes. Got some drizzle and some winter mix going on throughout the area, so it is causing some slick conditions. Elsewhere, things are fairly quiet at the moment. Again, you will have traffic and many closures and heavy security around McCormick Place tonight. The president's scheduled to speak. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Here's David Kolsak, president of Turnkey IT, on the success of businesses that use Turnkey.
Our customers are successful because they use us. They become more successful, I think, if they rely on us. I think our best customers are the ones that bring to us any problems that they have and their vision. We're not only just your IT firm, we can become part of your business, and if you rely on us, you're going to see results. If you just use us for the 10% that is just computer support, you're not going to get what you really can get, because if you dig deep and you rely on us and truly trust us to be your IT department, we can take your business places that you've never seen before. And, do all of our customers do that? No, but they should.
Go all in for 2017. With Turnkey's All In, you get the works. Not only unlimited help desk and on-site support, disaster recovery, and virus protection, but new hardware across your entire network, installed and implemented seamlessly every 4 years. Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today.
AM 560, The Answer.
So
text from 708. He's a football coach. He's not Plato. Yeah, I know. He actually demonstrated more wisdom than Plato in some respects there, 708. It turns out they're smart people in a lot of different walks of life. The people have something important to say, a lot of different walks of life. You don't need to be an officially sanctioned person to speak about cultural matters, as Dabo Swinney did eloquently.
Dabo!
And that's why we played it, and probably will again. So you keep your nose in Plato's Republic, and we're going to go all Dabo all the time here.
Sorry, I laugh. Oh, just so you know, because tonight I know you're going to that Obama farewell speech.
Oh, yeah, no, I got to get queued up right after the show. I want to, get a good seat.
Well, the doors open at 5, but people are lining up already to get the best seat. But the thing that they don't know, because I was there.
Politicians, members, faculty members at Chicago area universities, the Champagne Socialists in Lakeview that go to that cult that you call a church. Who else?
No, I actually know people that bought online on eBay for $500. $500.
Yeah.
I mean,
to hear the same speech you've been hearing for a decade.
Yeah, but one person bought a ticket for $2,500. But the thing is, even if you wait in line, you're still not going to sit up front because they are going to rope off sections. So even if you wait in line for 12 hours, you're not going to get that great seat because they reserve that for his friends and his, coworkers and people that have helped him along the way.
Yeah, it's interesting. Speaking of the outgoing president of the United States, Chicago's very own He'll-
Mark Uncle.
Yeah. Chicago, where we work hard and play hard. Give me a break.
Is that show coming back anytime
No,
soon?
Robert Redford's
Robert.
propaganda for Tiny Dancer there? I don't think so. I hope not. He'll always be Chicago's president, as Lynn Sweet said.
Well,
No, I know.
He
Al Capone
is.
will always be Chicago's gangster.
He is always going to be our.
I
Chicago's
know.
president. He
I
is.
know.
He was a state senator here, U.S. senator.
No, I've heard the story. Yeah.
You know the gig. You know the gig. And
Yeah,
the presidential library is going
I've
to be
followed it very closely.
next to his golf course.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
We can go golfing, and then we can go to the museum.
Well, Gallup did a little survey of American attitudes about President Obama in terms of have we made progress or have we lost ground in a range of categories. So you know how the president said the other day that race relations are greatly improved.
Yeah.
Well, that's obviously his opinion from his perch. It turns out not to be the American public's opinion. I mentioned 6 months ago that it was basically a 180, where 70% of America think race relations have deteriorated under President Obama after high hopes when he took office for obvious reasons. According to Gallup, only 30% of Americans think the situation for blacks in America has improved. 37% say black families have lost ground. Education, 31% we've made progress. 39% we've lost ground. -8, lost ground. National defense and military, 30% progress, 39% lost ground. Taxes, 23% made progress, 34% lost ground, -11. Situation in Afghanistan, that's the war we should be fighting, not the war in Iraq. Remember that from candidate Obama? Made progress, 26%. Lost ground, 38%, -12. It gets worse. Immigration reform. Comprehensive immigration reform.
First 90 days when he was in office.
Absolutely.
That's what he promised.
Made progress, 27%. Lost ground, 45%, -18.
Wow.
U.S. position in the world, one of the things that we know from President Obama, because he said it, is that he and Michelle and the team have reestablished America's honor in the world, improved our standing in the world. 30% made progress, 49% lost ground, -19. Terrorism, 28% made progress, 49% lost ground, -21. Iraq, 25% made progress, 47% lost ground, -22. Race relations, generally, not just for blacks, 25% progress, 52% lost ground, -27 net. Gap between rich and poor, because that's one of the value props of the Dems, right?
Right.
Gonna, close that gap. 14% made progress, 48% lost ground, -34. Crime, 21% made progress, 56% lost ground, -35. Debt, 21% made progress, 57% lost ground, -36. I mean, the only people that believe we've made progress in any of these areas are, your fellow congregants on Sundays. Right. Everybody else is living a very different experience than Barack Obama says they're living, and thus the Trump reaction to the actual record of the outgoing president.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The U.S. economy has been getting stronger, and home values have been increasing. This good economic news presents a unique financial opportunity for you. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Many of our clients have been taking cash out of their homes, a strategy that might work for you. The smart move is to refinance your mortgage right now with Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.25%, APR 4.43%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how much we can lower your mortgage payment. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
The website is upstream-ideas.com, upstream-ideas.com. Go there, sign up for premium content that complements what we do every morning on this show. Long-form interview with Steve Cortez this week on the Against the Current series we do. Steve Cortez, Trump surrogate. Commentaries, 60-second commentaries from me. Follow the Logic Man on the Street interviews. We've got a good one this week at University of Chicago in response to some of the response from students about the visit from Sean Spicer, the incoming press secretary for the incoming president of the United States. Podcast of our Illinois Rising program. That's our Sunday program that focuses on Illinois politics and policy. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Is Meryl Streep a good example of why the left is winning the culture war at 538?
And later, a man gets a ticket for parking in his own driveway. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Cloudy and 33 degrees. Classes at St. Charles East High School canceled this morning. For around 800 students called in sick yesterday. Unseasonable rains and surface runoff since New Year's Day in Thailand have resulted in deadly flooding in that country. Businesses paralyzed, schools closed. Tourists are stranded, thousands of them. The severe flooding has killed 25. Round 2 of flooding and rain and snow headed for Northern California and Nevada, where downpours have already flooded roads, homes, and vineyards and toppled storied giant sequoia trees. Police around the U.S. investigating 16 bomb threats against Jewish community centers and buildings in 9 different states. Hundreds evacuated, no devices found. Federal public defender will represent the man accused of murdering 5 and wounding 6 others at a Fort Lauderdale airport. Esteban Santiago, accused of opening fire in the baggage area of the Fort Lauderdale airport last Friday. 2 days of high-profile hearings before the Senate Judiciary Committee begin today for President-elect Donald Trump's pick for Attorney General, Senator Jeff Sessions. Democrats want the Justice Department and the Office of Government and Ethics to investigate whether the president-elect's son-in-law can legally serve as a senior White House advisor. President Barack Obama returning to the city that launched his unlikely political career for one final speech.
There's still a lot of work that needs to be done on the speech, so the president will be doing a lot of thinking between now and then. Thinking about what he wants to say and what sort of presentation he wants to make to the American public.
White House spokesman Josh Earnest on the president's speech tonight at McCormick Place. CTA adding extra service for tonight's Obama farewell address, including longer green lines operating between 6 p.m. and 1 a.m. And Wayne Brady is about to get his shot in Hamilton, in Chicago. Producers of the hit musical saying the famous comedian and game show host will play Aaron Burr from January 17 to April 9th at Private Bank Theater. Brady's won an Emmy Award for a couple of different shows. He's no stranger to the stage. Made his Broadway debut in 2004 in the musical Chicago. Oklahoma City beat the Bulls 109-94 last night. Your national champion in college football is Clemson. And the news service of Al Piemonte Ford in Melrose Park. Stop. Before you buy your new car, you must visit Al Piemonte Ford now. Truckloads of new cars and trucks have just arrived. Everything priced to sell quickly. Al Piemonte Ford is at 25th and North Avenue in Melrose Park. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Celebrate the new year with a change. Stamp your passport to paradise. Escape Chicago and join Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh in Punta Cana at the Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa. It's an all-inclusive, all-suites, adults-only resort located in beautiful, sunny Punta Cana. Time is running out to book your trip through Apple Vacations. Don't get left out in the cold this year. Visit 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword passport.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois. It's tax season. Are you prepared? Do you need help? Corporate and personal tax deadlines are approaching fast. It's time to call Timothy C. Wolf, CPA, an expert in tax preparation, IRS representation, and payroll filings. Tim is knowledgeable about current tax legislation and how to maximize your deductions. He'll have your tax return electronically filed, and any refund will be direct deposited to your account. Don't miss quarterly tax deadlines. Don't wait to the last minute to file. Trust your taxes with an experienced professional. Let Timothy C. Wolf, CPA, plan and prep your corporate and personal taxes now. Call anytime for a free review of your past 3 business or personal tax returns. 847-818-0400. 847-818-0400. Make an appointment today and receive 20% off your first-time 2016 tax preparation. Timothy C. Wolf, CPA. Find him at afreetaxreview.com. afreetaxreview.com.
5:36. Time to check the climate of your business at aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Let's get a check of the roads this morning. In our AM 560 traffic center, here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Some roads are slick. We got crashes. One on the Tri-State southbound at 41. 2 left lanes are blocked. Adams Tollway westbound at Gulf Road. Got a crash in the right lane. Also, 8094 eastbound at Calumet Avenue. The ramp is reopened there after an earlier collision. Inbound Stevenson jamming up now from Cermak to Lakeshore Drive with ongoing construction. Looking at a 4 or 5 minute delay. Inbound Ryan, stop and go in the express lanes, 35th to the Stevenson. Traffic at Service Burger King's breakfast. What's the best place to have your breakfast? How about on a warm croissant? Right now at Burger King, get 2 croissant breakfast sandwiches. Just $4. Light, flaky croissant, piled high with savory sausage, or delicious thick-cut smoked bacon. 2 croissant sandwich for $4. Only at Burger King. Price and participation vary. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Windy day ahead. Milder periods of rain will top out at 45, drop to 27 overnight. Have more rain showers tomorrow and a high of 42. 35 at O'Hare, 37 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Heard Saturdays at noon right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Talking about Meryl Streep's comments at the Golden Globes on Sunday night. We mentioned it yesterday, but there's some continuing fallout. And let's just remember a little bit of what she had to say. You know, all of the favorite notes of the left were hit. The victimology, the disgust for what they see are the brutish tastes of anyone who is not them or similarly ideologically disposed. They were all on display.
You and all of us in this room really belong to the most vilified segments in American society right now. Think about it. Hollywood, foreigners, and the press.
Yeah. And
can I play my favorite? Just the first part of it? When she was talking about his performance, his acting performance, and how it cut her to the core.
There was one performance this year that stunned me. It sank its hooks in my heart. Not because it was good. There was nothing good about it. But it was effective and it did its job. It made its intended audience laugh and show their teeth. It was that moment when the person asking to sit in the most respected seat in our country imitated a disabled reporter, someone he outranked in privilege, power, and the capacity to fight back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's another favorite trope of the left, which is to kind of recast history, rewrite it so it comports with their version of events.
But it was a show. I mean, politics is half showmanship. And Donald Trump's a reality TV star.
I'm sorry, what was the reaction to Trump's pantomime of that disabled reporter? It was laughing and showing of teeth? No, it wasn't. He was rebuked for that.
Yeah, by the left and the right.
That was not something that buoyed Trump. So, no, I don't recall on this show us laughing or applauding along.
Oh, we were horrified.
Well, because we didn't. And most others didn't either. So this is Meryl Streep's caricature of the deplorables. A caricature of a caricature. That's Meryl Streep's cartoonish interpretation of people she doesn't know. And, the other thing that she did with the whole foreigners rap, because that was central. Then she went around the room, well choreographed, and picked out actors that were in the audience and told little portions of their personal story about their heritage or their place of upbringing. But if you recall, she made it sound like Trump wants to kick people out of this country who came to Hollywood from Ohio. I mean, that's specifically what she said. It's absurd. And
coffee in my mouth.
And here's the thing about that. Here's the condescension about that. Meryl Streep would never say that within her circle of friends. She would never say that to the people that she was putting on this pedestal as examples of the rich diversity of Hollywood that for her apparently doesn't exist everywhere in the country, which of course it generally does. She would never say it because she knows how silly it is. But that's the opinion she has of the hoi polloi between the coasts. That she could say something so absurd, and if she says it and acts through it with her great talent of acting, and kind of that earnest maudlin, then that's somehow going to be accepted, that false sentimentality. I mean, it's just despicable. It's just despicable. And, of course, the reaction is, well, she has every right to say, of course she has every right to say what she said. This is another favorite tactic of the left, the misdirection play. Like anybody is arguing that Meryl Streep should be barred from saying what she said. People are arguing about taste, class, substance. Nobody is saying that she doesn't have she should be silenced or she doesn't have the right to speak her mind. And, it's up to the producers of the Golden Globes whether she can speak her mind during their program. They obviously okayed it. Fine. I'm glad she spoke her mind. So, I mean, Josh Earnest reacting to her speech yesterday.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I mean, it's just comical.
No, please.
Now, let me preface this.
Okay.
He has not spoken to President Obama about this. So this is just Josh Earnest riffing. This is just Josh Earnest's opinion about what Meryl Streep did at the Golden Globe. So, factor that in, the deep thinking that comes from a Josh Earnest.
And I think what I can say is she clearly was delivering a thoughtful, carefully considered message that she believes in deeply. And it seemed to me to be a fairly straightforward exercise of her First Amendment rights as a citizen of the United States.
A yawn. I mean, give me a break. But here's the question, though. This is from David French in Nash Review.
The David French.
The David French. David French was never Trumper, not a Trump fan, great writer, good conservative. He was
going to be. Remember, he was going to be up for president. There was a movement to get him in there
before they got Evan McMullin, and that went really well.
Party candidate. Yeah.
His piece in Nash Review Online: Meryl Streep's Golden Globe speech. Why the left wins the culture war. He writes that for all their celebrity star power, the Democrats are the weakest they've been in generations. True. But in that same period, whose cultural values have most advanced? The secular left has taken a sledgehammer to God, family, and country, the pillars of our national culture, and Hollywood has led the way. American irreligiosity is rising. The family is collapsing, and generations of children are now raised to view their nation not as a flawed but indispensable beacon of freedom, but rather as a bigoted oppressor, an instrument of evil across the globe. In fact, it's strange to even think of Trump as somehow a triumph over Hollywood. In many ways, he is Hollywood. Hollywood sells the best cultural drugs. Truth is optional, self-indulgence is a virtue, and bullying is bravery. And at the Golden Globes, it was all wrapped in Streep's alluring package an emotion-laden call to arms that stirred the hearts of millions. I'm not sure about the last part of that this stirred the hearts of millions, that whose hearts were not already stirred, the I'm with her crowd. So I'm not sure how much.
Oh, I think she's a hero to the I'm with her crowd.
Well, there's no question, but I'm not sure how much, across the aisle, so to speak, appeal her speech had. I don't think it moved anybody. So I don't agree with French about that. But the other point he made, yes, Trump is a reaction to the non-elite elites like Streep when they get outside their core competency and start lecturing people about their their quiet lives of desperation, as it were, at least in the mind of Meryl Streep.
Mm-hmm. But Donald Trump didn't help himself because he lowered the bar again with his tweet. Meryl Streep, one of the most overrated actresses in Hollywood. That characterization of her is so grossly misguided and wrong, because I think no matter what you think of her political standings, she's a brilliant actor. Brilliant.
There's no question.
Everything she touches turns to gold.
But his characterization of her as a flunky for Hillary Clinton is not inaccurate. She is that. So you're
lost big. I mean,
it's a mixed bag in terms of Donald Trump's tweets on the topic.
No, but his best response would have been not to respond.
But the larger question is, yes, Trump is a repudiation of the elites, but is Trump really a repudiation of the Hollywood left that, as David French correctly describes, has led the way to secularizing America and undermining the pillars of our national culture, God, family, and country? Is Trump really a victory against that, the inertia behind the secularization of America and the associated parade of horribles that it lines up and marches through the streets? I think that's a different question, and it's an interesting one. Gunnar in Winthrop Harbor, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. The irony that she can get up there and talk about how disrespectful he is in such a disrespectful manner is just mind-blowing. Just another liberal speech from blah, blah land.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Gunnar. Megan in Evanston.
Hey, guys, great show. My comment is Tom Hiddleston gets ridiculed and has to apologize for his speech, and then Meryl Streep, gets the endorsement of Robert De Niro. Kind of a double standard.
Yeah, okay. All right, thanks for the call, Megan. George Clooney has weighed in on this.
Oh, please. I need to know what he thinks about this, or I can't go on.
I thought that might be the case. He said, we have to hope that he can do a decent job, he being Trump, because when the President of the United States fails, really terrible things happen. Clooney said unironically at a London reception for Syrian rescue workers, for Syria rescue workers documentary, The White Helmets. He's doing a documentary on Syria rescue workers, pouring through the 500,000 dead in Syria as the result of the President of the United States failing, not doing a terrible job and not doing a good job and really terrible things happening. So the irony of that statement in the context was lost on Clooney. Although he's not too sanguine about Trump, I think we're going to be a little unlucky now. I can only hope for the best. And then again, Clooney said that regarding Streep's speech, I support her right forever to speak out. That's not the issue.
I know.
Of course she can speak out. I mean, it's just I wish.
Yeah. What did you say? And then they did the cutaway of Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn.
Yes.
They're called the two conservatives. They were calling it the conservative table.
They had,
and they were just watching. I mean, they weren't going. Oh, they weren't. They didn't shriek or have looks of horror on their face. They were just listening and went.
Well, they couldn't have looks of horror on their face because they were bound up like Hannibal Lecter as the two conservatives that were wheeled into the room in Hollywood.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Fava beans with a Chianti. Yeah, that's right. Forecast for today: windy, a lot milder. We have a little light sleet rain mix right now. It's going to turn to all rain, and we'll have periods of it off and on throughout the day. A high of 45 degrees tonight, a low of 27, and tomorrow Thick cloud cover with a shower in the afternoon, a high of 42. Anything pleasant on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Yeah, maybe an unpleasant morning on the roads, Amy. Got a crash on the southbound tri-state. This is to the north. It's at 41 on the southbound side. 4-car collision. 2 left lanes are blocked. Prepare to slow down approaching. Elsewhere, the tollways have light traffic and roads are wet, and some places visibilities are reduced. The Edens is still okay, so is the Kennedy. The Eisenhower inbound, heavy Manheim to first, 31 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 29, Stevenson 42 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 19 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 427, really heavy this morning, starting around 111. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
No more excuses, gentlemen. It's a new year, and you need to stop putting things off, especially when it comes to taking care of your health. Dan Proft here. I know we all hate going to the doctor. That's why Low T Center makes it quick and easy to get your testosterone levels checked. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you know your results in about 20 minutes. So if you're drinking coffee or energy drinks, I wish I was able to drink coffee. Broken coffee maker.
There is coffee.
I know.
A box of Joe.
Yeah, it's not enough. So if you're drinking,
well, when you're done chugging that, let me know.
If you're drinking a box of Joe or energy drinks just to get you through the day, or if you always feel like you need a nap, you may have low T. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, raise your cholesterol, and cause weight gain. I personally recommend going to my friends at Low T Center. They accept most health insurance. They're in-network for most providers. And they have flexible hours, including on Saturdays, so don't hesitate to find out what your number is this new year. Sure glad I did. Call my friends at Low T Center and tell them Dan Proft sent you. That's me. The number is 630-409-4305. Again, 630-409-4305. Call Low T Center at 630-409-4305 or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
If you own a business, you'll do everything you can to keep the lights on. The thing is, keeping those lights on can be much more cost-effective than you ever imagined. And Twin Supplies can help. Twin Supplies specializes in helping businesses, public entities, and nonprofits get energy efficient with their lighting and take advantage of incentives from utility companies to help with energy improvement costs. From restaurants to schools, churches, and stadiums, they'll walk you through every step to realize maximum money savings in energy efficiency. Your maintenance staff will spend less time changing bulbs with worry-free fixtures that feature up to a 10-year warranty. Plus, the quality of your lighting will improve, resulting in improved working conditions and safety. Find out how much your commercial business can save with a free energy audit from Twin Supplies. Utility companies change their incentives frequently and funds can run out. Now is the time to take action. Don't wait. Call 630-590-5138 or log on to twinsupplies.net and take charge of your business's energy efficiency. Twinsupplies.net.
Hey, are you thinking about the IRS right now? Man, if the IRS is coming after you, your IRS problem is their day and night. You need help to fight the IRS. I recommend you call my very good friend, Attorney Stephen Leahy of Open Tax Resolutions. Hey, he's got a special offer going on right now. If you're not certain about your position with the IRS, he will pull your personal IRS transcripts and find out exactly where you stand for free. Find out where you stand. If you owe back taxes, if you have unfiled returns. Hey, if you're afraid of the IRS, call my friend Steve Leahy now. 312-664-6649. Steve's the host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard every Sunday at 5 right here on AM 560. He's also a really good friend of mine, and I don't know of anybody better in dealing with the IRS. Call him now. Steve Leahy, 312-664-6649. That's 312-664-6649.
America was built by people with a few dollars and a dream. But even today, there's still one path to success that only requires a dream and about $10. Because if your dream is to start or grow your business, something as simple as the right business card could make all the difference. Right now at Vistaprint, you can get 500 customized high-quality business cards for only $9.99. That's $9.99, and your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. Just go to Vistaprint.com, use promo code 2020 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 2020.
Geico presents a voicemail from your friend, Lightning.
Hey, bud, Joe Powell Lightning. I was just hanging out in the old Cloudaroo here. I thought I'd give you a call. I hope you're still not sore about that time I deep-fried your big screen TV with that bolt. Yeah, I've been meaning to pay you back for that one, for sure. A little short on cash at the moment, but any day now. Yep. Well, anywho, talk later.
Lightning won't pay for the damage it causes. Luckily, the Geico Insurance Agency makes getting coverage a snap. Visit geico.com to see how affordable renter's insurance can be.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now.
I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
For me, it never has been about Trump.
The Joe Walsh Show.
For me, it's about the ideas, it's about the issues, it's about the movement. Go ahead and cut whatever deal you want, but when it comes to people in this country illegally, you ran your campaign, sir, on that issue. You can't walk that back.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chris Veldman of ServiceMaster DSI, the largest ServiceMaster franchise in the United States and a customer of Signature Bank. In our business, we respond to disaster, and we never know when disaster will strike, whether it's flooding in Louisiana or a house fire in Chicago. Not all banks understand that need for flexibility, but Signature Bank does. That's why we consider them so much more than a bank. They have been our business partner since 2006, when their 3 co-founders, Mick, Kevin, and Brian, started the bank. Signature Bank is a key part of our growth strategy at ServiceMaster DSI.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Can you feel it? 2017 is going to be an exciting year for your business. You're going to be busy and can't afford to miss a beat. When you need exceptional interim help or need to recruit new talent to meet the demands of your growing business in the new year, rely on Flex Execs. For almost 30 years, Flex Execs has been supplying Chicago area businesses with mid to senior level talent in HR, finance, accounting, marketing, and operations. Whether you need one person or a team of people, either interim talent or new recruits, Flex Execs is ready to make it easy for your business to meet your deadlines and goals, control costs, and place the right people to help you deliver results. You know how finding the right people to drive your company is critical. Flex Execs makes it easy. Connect online today at flex2017.com. That's flex2017.com. Or call 630-655-0563 and talk to Chris Swanson or Karen Murphy. Flex Execs, moving business at the speed of trust.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, one sitting senator to testify against another. Yes, breaking overnight, Cory Booker is going to take on Jeff Sessions.
And Democrat National Committee Chairman candidate Keith Ellison in town to praise Mike Madigan. We'll have that at 6:16.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, St. Charles High School, St. Charles East, canceling classes. We'll tell you why as the Thunder rout the Bulls. A windy and milder day today. We'll top out at 45. Forecast after Fox, WIND Chicago News Time 6.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. They're up first. A retired general and a senator. Both hope to be in the Trump cabinet, and one will get a lot of scrutiny as Senate confirmation hearings start today. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Senator Jeff Sessions is expected to tell his Senate colleagues that as Attorney General, he will prosecute those who repeatedly violate the nation's borders, crack down on criminals who use guns in committing crimes, and take down drug cartels. The former Alabama prosecutor will likely face tough questions about his civil rights record. In an unusual move, Democratic Senator Cory Booker will testify against his colleague. Later today, a confirmation hearing will begin for General John Kelly for Homeland Security Secretary. And meanwhile, the Trump transition team has announced the president-elect's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, will serve as White House senior advisor. Dave.
Now, Rachel, Democrats spent hours railing against Republicans on the Senate floor last night.
The very first thing on the Republican agenda in the 115th Congress is to shatter health care in America.
That's Elizabeth Warren. She says Republicans will repeal and then run, and Senator Bob Casey says they don't know what to do next.
So far, there is no plan.
But incoming counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, says Americans
don't have to worry and listen to the hard left that's trying to scare them into believing that they will lose their coverage. That is not true.
Republicans say they'll work out an Obamacare replacement that will cost less. Police are still searching for a cop killer in Orlando, Florida.
We will bring him to justice.
Mayor Buddy Dyer, Markeith Lloyd's wanted for murdering a police officer outside a Walmart yesterday. A sheriff's deputy later died in a crash during the manhunt. They are cheering a championship.
It was a great win. That was a heck of a football game. One of the best ones I've ever seen.
At Clemson, after a dramatic finish in the college football title game, Clemson scored the winning touchdown with 1 second left to beat Alabama 35-31, avenging the loss to Alabama in last year's championship game. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
36 degrees. Winds are gusty this morning from the south at 16 miles an hour. 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Classes at St. Charles East High School canceled this morning after around 800 students called in sick yesterday. District spokesperson Jim Blaney saying the symptoms of many teens are consistent with the stomach virus. President Barack Obama returning to the city that launched his unlikely political career for one final speech.
There's still a lot of work that needs to be done on the speech. So the president will be doing a lot of thinking between now and then, thinking about what he wants to say and what sort of presentation he wants to make to the American public.
The president's speech before thousands here in Chicago this evening is a last chance to try and define what his presidency meant for the country. A last attempt at a state budget before the new General Assembly is sworn in is on hold in Springfield, but there was plenty of work yesterday as Senate leaders from both sides spent the day trying to put forward a package of bills that they say will bring an end to the two-year budget stalemate. We get details on that developing story from AM 560's David Stewart.
Senate President John Carleton and Minority Leader Christine Radonio say the bills are linked together and include budget issues along with a couple of the reforms that Governor Rouners demanded. Carleton says they'll be reintroduced Thursday when the new General Assembly is seated.
This is a budget. This is a budget package with reforms that Senator Radonio referred to.
Radonio says Republicans agree it's time to work together.
2 years has made people really realize how bad it can be when we don't work together.
Still not heard from, though, are Rauner or House Speaker Michael Madigan. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
And Northwestern University women's basketball player Jordan Hankins has been found dead in her room at the university. School spokesperson says the 19-year-old's body was found Monday afternoon. There is no indication of foul play. The coach says Hankins' death is a devastating loss for the basketball family. Northwestern's scheduled game against Minnesota on Wednesday has been postponed. Oklahoma City beat the Bulls 109-94. You've heard throughout the morning. Clemson, a 35-31 win over Alabama in the college football national championship title game. The news service of LifeLock. Grabbing coffee or breakfast, if you swipe that card, you'll leave a trail of digital information that thieves can use to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to LifeLock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. 6:04, time to check the climate of your business with AirComfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Test drive a Ford Escape and find out. With available EcoBoost power and a host of class-exclusive features designed to make life better. Compare Ford Escape next to a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V, and the reasons start to stack up. The 2017 Escape. That's Ford. And that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that you're probably driving right now. Sitting comfortably behind the wheel with a tasty caffeinated beverage in your cup holder. Well, if you were driving with Uber, you could be earning money right now too. That's because Uber is the ultimate side hustle. Extra cash whenever you want. Earning you can turn on and off, just like your car. This isn't just another job, it's a totally flexible way to earn. So go ahead, get your side hustle on. Visit uber.com/drive now. That's uber.com/drive now.
6:06, and let's get an update on those roads this morning. Driving Uber or otherwise in our AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Slickness for all this morning, Mike, on the southbound tri-state, not too far south of the state line at 41, south of Russell Road. Got a 4-car crash blocking the 2 left lanes. The Edens are still okay, but the inbound Kennedy has slow pockets between River Road Toll and Montrose. 24 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound Fawn at 20. Eisenhower's 33 minutes, Thorndale to the post office downtown, outbound still good at 29. On Stevenson, 47 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 32 from the tri-state. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 19 minutes, I-80 to the Merge Bishop, 427. Traffic is a service of Staples. Are you resolved to get organized this year? Staples has low prices on everything your business needs to be organized this year, like banker's boxes, file folders, and storage bins. And right now, get 20% off select supplies. Ends 1/14. Restrictions may apply. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here is our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour with periods of rain, a high 45, then a mostly cloudy night. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour in the evening, low tonight 25. A shower around for the afternoon tomorrow, high 42. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
This morning in Colorado Springs, they're registering winds up to 100 miles an hour near Pikes Peak. 35 at O'Hare, 37 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Watson, touchdown! Hunter Renfrow. Little man makes another enormous play.
You've had 3 serious catastrophic incidents, and now you've had a security breach at the front side, which isn't catastrophic, but it does point to a vulnerability.
Here's the great irony. Leader McConnell asked for the exact same things we're asking for in 2009 to President-elect Obama. And here's the one difference. All of President-elect Obama's nominees complied.
Everybody will be properly vetted, as they have been in the past.
I think they'll all pass. I think every nomination will be, they're all at the highest level.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So confirmation hearings begin in earnest today. First up is Senator Jeff Sessions, Trump's Attorney General nominee, of course. But even before that, yesterday, Kush, as you like to call him.
Kush, man, Jared Kushner. His nickname is Kush.
It is?
Yeah, Kush. Let's start a movie.
Better than his dad's nickname, which is convicted felon.
Oh, doom.
But Jared Kushner, the son-in-law, the husband to one Ivanka Trump, being named to a senior advisor post.
He's taking over Valerie Jarrett's position.
Yeah, and
essentially.
I know there's some talk about whether this runs afoul of anti-nepotism laws and some concern about conflicts of interest. And those are legitimate concerns, but I don't see this going anywhere in particular, do you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they keep talking about, is he exempt from that 1967 nepotism law? That was after
Bobby Kennedy.
Bobby Kennedy was Attorney General to JFK. But, federal judges supported President Clinton's move to put his wife in charge of health care reform.
Exactly.
That was okay. So
Yeah.
I think this is fine. And he said he's not going to take his salary. But they also said he could play a key role in the Middle East peace process.
Well, I don't know about his bandwidth on the vicissitudes of the Middle East conflicts, but okay. Well, I guess we'll see. We'll see about that. But so, I mean, I don't really have a big issue with it. Although, and I'm reserving judgment. I'm just raising a concern. I don't really like the whole kind of royal family feel of that you get from the Trump transition. The idea
they're loyal to their father, and he trusts them. That's why Ivanka Trump is essentially going to be the first lady.
Well, I understand, but that's not the standard. And by the way, Ivanka Trump as the de facto first lady is a little weird for me too. I don't really.
You're not wrapping your head around this one.
Well, I'm just raising a concern. We'll see how it plays out in practice. I'm not going to hyperventilate about it. I think this is not a big story. The Kushner, as a senior advisor, he played a substantial role on the campaign. It's not a particular surprise. As you say, the trust relationship is important, and it's understandable that that's important. You have to have people around you that are able and that are trustworthy. And every president's entitled to put together his own team that exhibits those qualities. I'm just saying I just have a little bit of concern about it. So we'll see how it plays out. But to more of the, I guess, important positions, I mean, particularly when you're talking about Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, he's catching the heat that you expected him to catch, revisiting his failure to get a federal judicial appointment in 1986 because of allegations that he didn't have the right views on race relations and the like, despite a prosecutorial career that suggests quite the opposite. And frankly, a Senate career that says quite the opposite, including to, for example, vote to confirm Eric Holder because of his belief in the president's entitlement to his choices, so long as they clear a certain threshold of qualification for key posts, key cabinet positions like Attorney General. But there is this unusual development, and it relates to New Jersey Senator Cory Booker.
Yeah, breaking overnight, he has decided to testify against Jeff Sessions. He, and are you ready for this? This is not going to come as a surprise. Civil rights icon John Lewis are both going to contest this and do what is historically has not been done in years.
Well, concretely, I'm breaking a pretty long Senate tradition by actually being a sitting senator testifying tomorrow against another sitting senator. So please understand, I think these are extraordinary times and they call for extraordinary measures.
And here's why he's doing it, Dan.
We've seen already in this country that we are at a strike point around issues of policing, around issues of civil rights, around issues of gay and lesbian equality within our country. And we've seen consistently Jeff Sessions, as Senator Jeff Sessions, voting against everything from the Matthew Shepard Act, voting against or speaking out against key ideals around the Voting Rights Act, taking measures to try to block criminal justice reform. He has a posture and a positioning that I think represent a real danger to our country and even nations.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a threat to our nation? 312-642-5600.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, I think Cory Booker is doing this to elevate his political career,
Oh,
to
do you
become the
think?
new face of the Democratic Party.
Do you think that may have something to do with it?
Yeah, I think that has everything to do with it.
Well, Peace in the Hill. Law enforcement sees Sessions as a police-first AG. Again, Jeff Sessions, a reaction to Holder and Loretta Lynch and the Obama administration. Law enforcement groups view Sessions as someone who will bring a police-first mentality to Department of Justice. They say that was absent during President Obama's 8 years in office. FOP Executive Director Jim Pascoe said, "We have about a 20-year relationship with Jeff Sessions from his time in the Senate, on the Judiciary Committee, and our members in Alabama who work with him both as State Attorney General and as a U.S. Attorney. And the best way to sum it up is that we don't have anything bad to say about Jeff Sessions. He has extraordinary insight into the demands and stresses of a police officer's life and also has a real reverence for the rule of law. It sounds corny, but it's true, and that's what our members pray for in a prosecutor. Pretty strong statement of support for Jeff Sessions from police.
And also, Condi Rice, another Alabaman, she wrote a letter of support for Jeff Sessions, just saying that he's a man who's committed to justice and knows that law and order are necessary to guarantee freedom and liberty.
We need to get Condi Rice on the show, not just to talk about Jeff Sessions, but also because I want to see if she'll have me out to Augusta as a guest.
That's right.
Yeah.
She's got a nice. I love Condi Rice.
Why don't you
Sorry, Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah.
Oh, why did I marry her?
Yeah,
okay.
She's available.
Sure. Oh, okay. We can get married in my church.
Sorry, I had to revert to my third grader mentality. One of the other groups weighing in, African American clergy in Alabama who, like police officers, have actually had interaction with Jeff Sessions, and not just the speechifying interaction a liberal hack like Cory Booker has had.
Hey, he's a hero, man.
Although I will say a good political documentary, if you've never seen it, is Street Fight. And it's about Cory Booker taking on, when he was running for mayor of Newark, New Jersey, taking on Sharp James, who later went to federal prison. When in that contest, he lost the first time he ran, and then he ran the second time and won. Cory Booker did. But it's a pretty interesting documentary about local urban politics and Booker's candidacy.
Street
Fight.
Okay.
Street Fight. Yeah, it's worth checking out.
I got to put that on my list.
Yeah,
After I watch Greater, I'm going to watch Street Fight.
Yeah, a little recommendation.
I did finally watch the Wiener documentary.
Yeah,
loved it.
You think
that was so good.
you think Medved's the only one who can make artistic recommendations around here? I don't think so. I think so.
I saw Gleason because of you. I'm still crying over that one.
You just listen to what Dan says. It's going to be all right, baby.
Hey, Sugar Pop, give me some coffee.
That's right.
Hey.
So police and African-American clergy in Alabama, for example. We know in Alabama who Jeff Sessions is, Bishop Kyle Searcy, senior pastor of the multiracial, non-denominational Fresh Anointing House of Worship in Montgomery, Alabama. And it's important to me that the truth comes out about him, that he's known for who he is. He's known for the good things he's done for Alabama. It's time in America that we become fair, that we stop listening to talking points, Searcy said in direct response to allegations of Jeff Sessions' supposed racism. He went on to say, when somebody comes up that some people would be against based on either party affiliation or based on fears that may be unfounded fears, but based on fears, then typically there's a need to scrape the bottom of the barrel and try and dig out whatever you can find. That might be an accusation that people would hear that would transfer the fear they have to others. Those of us in Alabama know him to be a very kind and very decent man, a man that both Democrats and Republicans alike endorse and appreciate, a man who served well and whose track record speaks for itself. So, Cory Booker will get all of the Beltway press attention, but the people who've actually had interactions with Jeff Sessions over an extended period of time telling a bit of a different story than left-wing Democrats. Mm-hmm. What a surprise. David in Lake Forest, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Since the beginning of the Trump campaign, I've just had serious misgivings about Kushner. And I think that Trump sees a lot of himself in Kushner, which is not good, because if you look at Jared Kushner, he is the epitome of a kid born with a silver spoon in his mouth who was literally handed everything to him by his father, who was a very, very unethical billionaire who spent time in prison for just horrible ethics and what he's done to his own family.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but that doesn't speak to Jared Kushner. I mean, the sins of the father, is that a little bit unfair? I mean, I don't know. I've read some profile pieces on him. I don't really
real estate mogul, just like Donald Trump was.
Well, I understand, but I don't have a good enough sense about Jared Kushner. There's a lot of people saying some very complimentary things about his ability and his decision making and the role he played in the campaign. I don't know how that necessarily translates into public policy, but I'm willing to keep an open mind. I just don't know enough. So, I mean, I'm somewhat in your camp, David, where I'm kind of raising a flag of concern. But I think we need to let it breathe and see how it plays out and see what role substantively Kushner plays.
The one thing I'm worried about from what I've heard in his own words is that, he will defend his father to the death, and he was bent on settling scores for his father while his father was in prison, which I just have great misgivings about.
Okay, thanks for the call, David.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, Chicago crime, the real numbers. But first, here's your forecast. Windy and milder with periods of rain. It is 21 degrees right now at O'Hare. Oh, is it? Yes. Stand by. 37 degrees. Thank you. Light rain.
By the way, just as a quick aside on Kushner.
Oh, okay.
You know the U.S. attorney who prosecuted him, or cut a plea deal with?
Who?
One Chris Christie.
Oh, the big man. Oh, and those two hate each other. Kushner and Chris Christie. That's why Chris Christie is in a cabinet pick.
That could be one of the reasons.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I think we're on to something. 37 degrees right now.
Crack this case wide open.
Going up to a high of 45 degrees. And then tomorrow, thick cloud cover with a shower in the afternoon, a high of 42. Let's get to the roadways. A very busy man this morning. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Eden's inbound. Delay started Peterson. 21 minutes is the travel time either way now. In Lake Cook and Montrose. Kennedy, 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 21. The Eisenhower, 35 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 30. Stevenson, 47 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound it's fine. Bryan, 23 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound at 41. There's a crash in the two left lanes. Northbound heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. The other tollways for now have no significant delays. Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
A great night's sleep is so important to your health. And it's no fun sleeping on a flat pillow, flip-flopping during the night, or waking up feeling unrested. The solution? Order a MyPillow today. MyPillow has a patented interlocking fill that adjusts to your individual sleep needs. It's washable, dryable, manufactured in America, and guaranteed not to go flat for 10 years. And right now is a great time to buy. If you buy one MyPillow, you'll receive another MyPillow plus 2 Go Anywhere pillows for no additional charge. Plus, the MyPillow money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied. Visit MyPillow.com, click the Radio Listener Special tab, and use the promo code AMY. You'll get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for one low price. Or call 800-489-0201. And be sure to mention the Radio Listener Special and the promo code AMY. That's MyPillow.com or 800-489-0201, promo code AMY.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? You should know. The credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people, they're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a portion of your debt now. Call National Debt Relief at 800-518-4020. 800-518-4020. That's 800-518-4020.
Hey, Pete, 20 more pallets backing up right now. Come over here with the forklift.
Don't bring them in here, man. We've got no place to put them, and we're officially out of room, buddy.
JRC Warehousing.
Well, we're getting 20 pallets dumped right here whether we like it or not.
Well, unless they get stored in your living room, I don't know what to tell you.
JRC Warehousing.
It says right here in our inventory system that we have room for 50.
And you're going to trust the control system that's older than my great-grandparents?
JRC Warehousing.
We can't be the only place that's run a storage room before, man. Think.
Yeah. How about I go buy one of those magic wands for you? Good luck.
JRC Warehousing offers complete solutions for your warehouse and trucking demands. No magic wands needed. Trucking requirements? No problem. Warehouse storage? No problem. Pull a rabbit out of your hat by calling JRC Warehousing for a no-obligation needs analysis and quote. 847-329-5030. That's 847-329-5030. Or visit jrcwarehousing.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, text from 224. What's your spin on Trump relieving appointed ambassadors? Washington Post covered Obama doing the exact same thing in 2008 with Bush appointees, non-issue by liberals. Well, that's my, it's not spin, that's my view on it. It's a non-issue. The Jared Kushner thing, generally a non-issue.
Sorry.
Kush. It's more just the kind of the totality that I'm raising a concern about. Let's not get too thin-skinned out there, Trump supporters.
Well, Valerie Jarrett's
no blind allegiance.
Barack Obama and Michelle Obama's, pseudo-mom.
Yes.
And she's part of the family, and he made her senior advisor. So, you stick with people you trust.
Speaking of those Democrats.
Ooh, a little slap happy.
U.S. Congressman Keith Ellison, nay E. Hakeem.
Oh,
Keith E. Hakeem when he was at the University of Minnesota.
That's right.
Now you know him today as Keith Ellison. He's running for...
Well, is his real name Keith Ellison, or is that a stage name?
I haven't done the Ancestry.com on him. I don't know. I think it's a stage name. It's nom de plume when he's
performing?
When he's authoring thought pieces for the University of Minnesota school paper. So he is running for dystopian committee chairman. And that
otherwise head of the DNC.
Yeah, the DNC, Dystopian Committee. Dystopian National Committee.
Ah.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I like the acronym translation.
Thank you.
Very good, Dan.
Thank you very much. He was in town. He came to Chicago Sunday to praise Mike Madigan, not to bury him.
Really?
A little Julius Caesar for you. A little Shakespeare in the morning.
Yeah.
You don't get that everywhere. He said of Mike Madigan, he has not gotten a commitment for Mike Madigan's support for his bid for DNC chairman, but he does consider Madigan someone he quotes, quote, who I admire tremendously, is how he described House Speaker. House Speaker Madigan is someone, quote, who I admire tremendously.
Oh, my gosh. Did he mention why? So he just came here to kiss the ring and to kiss his butt. In return, hopefully get support.
Well, if you're running for DNC chairman, it necessarily means you come through Chicago to genuflect before the established masters of the dark arts. And that would be Tiny Dancer and Mike Madigan, the Chicago Democrats.
Little tiny figurines, because they're all so short.
No, I know. They're little Cornish people.
Hi.
They're little,
Hi, little guy.
I'm
up here.
So Keith Ellis was in town. He was in town. President Obama's in town tonight, don't you know?
Yeah, he is. And a little preview of his farewell speech. Hunker down.
We have made America a better, stronger place for the generation that follows ours. We've run our leg in a long journey of progress, knowing that our work is and will always be unfinished.
Wow, I'm inspired. Here's what...
Doors open at 5. People are already lining up.
Here's what concerns me, though. Chicago, New York rank at the bottom of a new analysis of fiscal strength based on data from 2015 financial reports issued by the cities themselves. This analysis included 116 cities with populations greater than 200,000. Chicago is last of those 116 cities in terms of financial shape, which is exactly what Moody's said effectively about Chicago, about Illinois, but Chicago's just a microcosm of it last week when they downgraded Illinois' bond rating yet again. And this is based just looking at the city's own financial audits. And, of course, we know that FBI stats show not just Chicago murders up, depending on whose numbers you believe, but 50 to 60%, shootings up 50 to 60%. But crime across the board is up as police stops are way down. That's the city of Chicago, where President Obama is coming home to congratulate himself for all of the great work that he's done in the areas of urban renewal and so many other.
Do you think
so many other? Is Chicago the most violent city in America? and in the worst financial shape. Welcome home, dear leader.
Well, will he address that? I mean, will he talk about the 4 African Americans who tormented that poor mentally challenged white kid? Is he going to talk about the murder rates up 49%?
Well, he's not
49% from last year.
He's not going to talk about that. He may to pick out a anecdote so that he can rhetorically bleed for that person to pretend like he cares and he's engaged. But Chicago really is Obama's home. What Chicago has become is really Obama's home. So there is no better place for him to give his farewell speech than the epicenter of all of the policy choices he and all of his Chicago Democrat crime family buddies have made for 100 years.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Last winter was pretty much a piece of cake, but this winter, we're told, is gonna be a doozy.
Well, the Farmer's Almanac forewarns that bitterly cold, if not downright frigid, numbing cold weather will be predominating over these parts this winter.
Not looking good, but you can be ready. Smart businesses rely on Air Comfort to keep them and their customers warm this expected frigid winter. Air Comfort is one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with dedicated factory-trained technicians that take a scientific approach to analyzing your system. They have comprehensive year-round preventative maintenance programs and emergency service, plus design, build, and install equipment for new construction and retrofits of existing mechanical systems. Now is a great time to call Air Comfort and schedule an analysis of your company's mechanical system by their certified award-winning engineering team. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to Dr. Theodore Dalrymple about the attack on that special needs man in Chicago last week. The frivolity of evil with Theodore Dalrymple at 6:36.
And later, the death certificates are in for Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
36 degrees, cloudy skies, and heavy rain across the area this morning. 2 days of high-profile hearings before the Senate Judiciary Committee begin today for President-elect Donald Trump's pick for Attorney General Senator Jeff Sessions. A manhunt continues in Orlando, Florida for 41-year-old Markeith Lloyd, who's accused of fatally shooting a police officer outside a Walmart on Monday. Orlando Police Chief John Mina issued a warning to anyone trying to help Lloyd.
We want the community to know if you are assisting Markeith Lloyd evade capture, you will be criminally charged. And I can assure you that we will not rest until Markeith Lloyd is behind bars.
Lloyd had been wanted for the shooting death of his pregnant ex-girlfriend when Master Sergeant Deborah Clayton approached him outside that Walmart and was gunned down. Brewing political scandal in Maryland this morning, where officials have canceled swearing-in ceremonies for Gary Brown, Jr. He's a Democrat who's to fill a vacant seat in the Maryland House of Delegates. Brown has been charged with making illegal contributions to the Baltimore mayor's campaign. The company behind Snapchat placing its European base in Britain. It's a vote of confidence in the economy following Britain's vote to leave the European Union. Classes at St. Charles East High School canceled today. Around 800 students out of about 2,500 called in sick yesterday. Many of the teens are experiencing symptoms consistent with the stomach virus. CTA tells us they're adding extra service tonight for President Obama's farewell address on the Green Line, and number 3 King Drive buses will run more frequently. And authorities are investigating a robbery and a vehicle theft over the weekend at the Oakbrook Center Mall. Police say a woman had her purse taken Sunday at the Yellow F parking lot south of Macy's, and a Nissan Pathfinder was stolen the night before in front of the Clubhouse restaurant. That vehicle was recovered a short time later in the city of Chicago. NBA, Oklahoma City pounded the Bulls 109-94. Jimmy Butler played 39 minutes, but was hampered by the flu and had just 1 point. And Deshaun Watson and Clemson earn a national playoff championship game win over Alabama, 35-31. The news, a service of LifeLock. Grabbing coffee or breakfast, if you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information behind that thieves can use to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to lifelock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. 6:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher tells the president it's time to worry about other things.
But Mr. Putin is well aware of my feelings about this because I spoke to him directly about it.
Mr. President, you got to just pack. You just got to pack your bags. You got to pack up the furniture. You just got to pack up your furniture. You got to get the movers all lined up. You're moving out. You're not going to retaliate against Russia.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Everyone craves the comfort of a good night's sleep. That's why Serta Perfect Sleeper Mattress helps solve 5 common sleep problems. You'll be so comfortable, you'll never count sheep again.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain and complete suffering. It took many years before really we figured out exactly what it was or how to treat it. My whole goal was I did not want to be on high levels of pain medicine. After some time, I went to see Dr. Kenneth Candido to try to figure out the source of the pain and a solution and how to solve it. He listens. I'm going to cry because it's so real. I've been through so much, and he wants to help his patients, and he's there for me whenever I need him.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
It is 6:38 and a quick check of the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Edens is 24 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose out on 21. The Kennedy 29 minutes. O'Hare to downtown out on 23. The Ike now 40 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop out on 31. Stevenson 50 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan 24 minutes. 95th to downtown. Traffic Service of Staples. You resolved to spend less this year? Staples has low prices on printers, ink, and toner cartridges. And now during Staples' January printing event, buy 1 HP ink and get the second at 40% off. Ends 1/14. Restrictions may apply. See store staples.com for details. Staples, make more happen. Traffic AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Windy, milder, periods of rain and even snow today. High 45. Currently 36 with rain and snow mixed at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So this case that has received international attention, the 4 individuals who kidnapped, bound, tortured this special needs young man, 18 years old, last week. They were arraigned on Friday.
Yep, and denied bond.
Denied bond.
Thank goodness.
I want to talk more generally about these sorts of cases and what it says about where our culture is. Is this just kind of one-off, or is there something that is changing in our culture that needs to be acknowledged and discussed? Is there something going on? Because it's very interesting that all of a sudden you've got the Don Levins of the world. I mean, you've got these vacuous CNN newsreaders like a Don Levin.
And Ron Mott from MSNBC, too.
All of a sudden, mom and dad matter. Who knew? Oh, where's mom and dad with respect to the 4 kids? You have other people saying, where was mom and dad with respect to the victim in the crime? I think a bit unfairly, but okay.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, mom and dad matter. I thought the last 50 years of the war on poverty was that mom and dad don't matter. Government can be mom and dad.
Well, speaking of mom and dad, apparently the assailants were in contact with the special needs kids' parents.
During the course of the attack, the defendant Hill communicates with the victim's mother and demands $300 ransom in exchange for getting her son back.
And they did a little bit more than we originally thought.
So that it wasn't just horseplay, as their attorney first intimated.
Yeah,
of course.
Well, that's what they're saying, that they were play fighting. It got a little out of hand, so the 2 girls, the 2 sisters, decided to tie him up. Here's the assistant state's attorney.
Defendants Hill and Cooper yelled and screamed at the victim while defendant Hill was armed with a knife. The victim was made to say, "I love black people, Trump," and they made the victim kiss the floor.
Yeah.
Besides drinking toilet water, it was just a graphic, horrific video.
And then the other issue that's raised, and it's even being raised again by some of these vacuous newsreaders, so this is not a teachable moment, is the possibility of the existence of evil, which we normally don't want to confront when you have these mass murders and so forth. It's always there's a chemical imbalance. There's some kind of triggering that happened in society that's to blame. We need to kind of look at all of ourselves. We're all accomplices to some mass murderer's rampage. But now you have people saying, maybe there's just this thing called evil. Maybe evil exists in the world. So for more on this, pleased to be joined by Theodore Dalrymple. He is a licensed psychiatrist, practiced psychiatry in prisons in Britain for a long time. His latest book, which I highly recommend, Admirable Evasions, in addition to all of his work, is one of the great social commentators of, the last 50 years. Really, really good work at the City Journal, the Manhattan Institute, as well as a number of excellent books. Theodore Dalrymple, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So when this case arose last week, I immediately thought of you, and I went to kind of do a little bit of research, and I pulled up a piece you wrote some time ago, more than 10 years ago, called The Frivolity of Evil. And I wonder if you could explain what you meant by that phrase, and if you think that some of your observations in that piece and that phrase specifically has application in this case.
Well, it's a terrible thing to have to admit, but I can't quite remember what I said in this article, except, of course, that it would have been the truth. But,
of course, yes.
But I think I've certainly seen cases very similar to this one in Chicago, actually. And the question, these things have always happened. As you say, evil is a permanent possibility for mankind. I think the question is whether this kind of behavior is more frequent or less frequent than it once was.
Well, before we get,
if so, if it is more frequent, why it should be more frequent?
Before we get to the frequency of evil, I want to get to the essence of it. And in this piece that I referenced, I'll help refresh your recollection, put you on the stand here. You write about the frivolity of evil, the elevation of passing pleasure for oneself over the long-term misery of others to whom one owes a duty. What better phrase than the frivolity of evil describes the conduct of, for example, a mother who turns her own 14-year-old child out of doors because her latest boyfriend does not want him or her in the house. When you say passing pleasure for oneself over the long-term misery of others to whom one owes a duty, what do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean is that one considers only one's own immediate interest without reference to anybody else. And one has to remember also that there is actually quite a lot of pleasure, unfortunately, for many people, and perhaps all people surreptitiously, in inflicting hardship and suffering on others. And a lot of people enjoy doing that. So it is a permanent temptation. And if it's not controlled by any moral feeling, then the worst things can happen.
So what was your reaction when you heard about, or I'm assuming that you saw the video of these 4 African-American teenagers and how they tormented this mentally challenged
Yes, I mean, actually what
kid?
struck me very much, perhaps this is slightly frivolous, but I saw photographs of these 4 people, and I thought that evil was actually written all over their faces. They are the kind of people that one would give a wide berth to. You wouldn't, if you saw them coming towards you, you'd miss them, you'd avoid them. Now, what was very interesting about the expression on their face was not merely that they were insolent, but that they, and hateful, but they appeared, to me anyway, self-righteous as well. They could not conceive that anything that they did would be wrong. Now, of course, I'm reading a lot into their faces,
I know what you're
but that's what it appeared to me to be like.
Well, and so you mentioned you maybe you've been involved in cases similar to this during your time as a psychiatrist in the prison system. These types of individuals we're discussing, and there was a case in Idaho that was adjudicated partially last month, very similar. The 3 football players taking advantage of, sexually assaulting, frankly, a special needs teammate in Idaho. Are these individuals, can they be rehabilitated, if that's even an appropriate phrase? I mean, what has been your interaction with people who display the kind of characteristics you're talking about and their ability to, at any point become law-abiding members of society, as it were?
Well, in a sense, I think that's the wrong question. But if I answer it, if you, I think to expect people who have done the kind of things these 4 young people did, or some of the other things I've seen done, just as terrible, actually. Although I would say that there's something special about this case, which I'll talk about in a minute. But to expect them suddenly to realize that what they've done, or even slowly to realize what they've done is wrong, is absurd. It's ludicrous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you?
Are they going to say, "Oh, I now realize that taking a mentally handicapped person and torturing him is wrong. I didn't realize it before."
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you think?
That seems to me ludicrous.
Yeah. How do you think social media, though, has played into evil tendencies?
Well, I think one of the things that struck me about this case is that it was given a kind of ideological veneer, that there was some kind of political purpose to it, and that political purpose, in a sense, justified it in the minds of the perpetrators, so that they were not just torturing this person, which they obviously enjoyed doing, but they were right to do so because they had been the victims of injustice, or their group had been the victims of injustice, and so on. And this is a way of thinking that I'm afraid has been assiduously promoted
and so
over the last, 50 years or so.
Go back to the other point that you were going to make then, the idea of rehabilitating is the wrong question, and it's something else you wanted to say about these individuals.
Well, I was going to, what I wanted to talk about in ththese individuals is the kind of ideological veneer, if you like, the ideological justification for their sadism.
Well, one other thing you've written is kind of interesting, this whole kind of paid their debt to society. We hear this a lot when we talk about ex-offenders and criminal justice reformers who pay their debts to society. And you also say that kind of anodyne phrase is sort of devoid of meaning, that there is no way, for example, in this case, to repay the damage that you've done.
No, and in fact, the idea of repayment as if it's double entry bookkeeping is ludicrous, because you could say, well, supposing they did their punishment or whatever it is in advance, before they'd done anything, would they then be allowed to go and do what they did? Punishment is not a matter of double entry bookkeeping. 3 years in prison doesn't equal a burglary.
When you have these kind of atrocious cases, people want, and I do too, want to look at cultural factors. What could give rise to this sort of evil? And so we talk about the state of the family. We talk about the relative respect for the sanctity of human life and society. Do you, and again, in your experience dealing with cases like this, are there cultural factors that really do exacerbate the likelihood of the incidence of these things, or is that a reach?
I think there are. I mean, I think the way, I don't want to sound like a complete determinist, but the fact is that if you think in a certain way, you're more likely to behave in a certain way. And one has, if you look at people's propensity to do evil, no doubt there is a normal distribution. There are some people who, for whatever reason, are born more likely to commit evil. But you can move the whole distribution either in the direction of people doing more evil or less evil. And if you, a society in which people feel, constantly feel victimized and therefore, in a sense, justified in their own bad behavior, then you must expect more of this kind of behavior.
He is Theodore Dalrymple, retired psychiatrist, the author of many books, the most recent Admirable Evasions. Theodore Dalrymple, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time and insights.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. And he joined us in our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Consumer borrowing way up in November. End of an era for Victory Motorcycles. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. Attention, investors. Your IRA or your 401k may be at risk again. The 2008 crash wiped out up to 50% of IRAs and 401ks. Can you afford to lose again? What if you could store IRA or 401k savings where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? With the Augusta Gold or Silver IRA, you transfer a portion of retirement savings into physical coins you can actually see and get fast in case of any disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today for a free gold and silver IRA guide. No obligation. Augusta Precious Metals, A+ Better Business Bureau rating, 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. One more time, 1-855-222-6993.
Consumers took on $11 billion in new credit card debt in November, boosting overall borrowing at the fastest rate in 3 months. The Fed says this latest increase pushed total debt to a new record high of almost $4 trillion. Today's economic reports will include the outlook for small businesses as 2017 unfolds, an update on discount and chain store sales, plus job openings from the Labor Department. After 18 years in production, Minnesota-based Polaris Industries is eliminating its Victory Motorcycles brand, saying it lost money on the Victory cycles in 3 of the past 5 years. And the Agriculture Department estimating the cost of raising a child from birth through age 17 has risen to almost $234,000. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, then you need to do what Amy did and call David Hochberg at Pearl Mortgage. Customer service, market knowledge, and low closing costs are what make David one of the country's top producing loan officers. David's team of experienced loan officers is committed to helping you, your friends, family, coworkers, neighbors with your next real estate transaction. If you complete an online application with mortgage companies touting digital technology, someone with limited knowledge from a hotbox call center returns your call. When you complete an online application at am560david.com, Either David or one of his professional loan officers will call you and answer your questions. Technology is only as good as the professional loan officer you work with when you hit submit. If you want to work with a loan officer who appreciates and values your business, call David now, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. David's helped Amy and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. Pro Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage license E4358, NMLS 191186.
On January 22, 1973, the Supreme Court handed down the Roe v. Wade decision, legalizing abortion in America. Almost 60 million abortions have occurred since that date, and the lives of millions of women have been impacted by that decision. On January 13th, Eric Scheidler, Executive Director of the Pro-Life Action League, will be the featured speaker at the Catholic Citizens Forum Luncheon. Eric, a longtime pro-life activist, will address the effectiveness of public witness on the damage abortion has caused, tell of past victories, and lay out the future goals of the pro-life movement. He'll recount the progress made in changing hearts and minds, reflected in the opinion polls that report a majority of Americans are now pro-life. Join us at the Union League Club of Chicago on January 13th to hear this important talk. For information, go to CatholicCitizens.org or call Maureen at 708-352-5834. That's 708-352-5834.
Gray skies, gloomy days, cold weather. That's what we have here in Chicago. And a great way to get out of here and to start 2017 in the right direction is to book your trip somewhere warm and sunny. Woo!
Hey, Admiral Stockdale, where am I? What year is this?
What? Who are you? Oh, retro. Somewhere like Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. That's where we are heading this year. We'll be staying at the Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa. Unlimited luxury resort. It just opened in November. Great news. It's got 5 gourmet restaurants. Take a look online. This place is gorgeous. It has 7 bars serving unlimited premium drinks, 24-hour room service in case somebody wants to get a cheeseburger in the middle of the night after a long day of drinking. The resort has sparkling pools and access to pristine beaches. So join us in Punta Cana. Get more information and book your trip by visiting 560theanswer.com. Keyword passport. Now the trip is filling up fast, so do not wait. And the price that Apple Vacations has secured for our group is incredible and exclusive to us, but it will expire. So don't miss out. Visit 560theanswer.com, keyword passport.
Ransomware is software that can infiltrate your business through email, enabling cyber criminals to hijack sensitive information as ransom for your own data's release. Leveraging Barracuda email security with advanced threat detection can stop a ransomware attack in its tracks. As an added measure, Barracuda Backup allows you to recover your data without having to surrender to extortion. Crime doesn't pay when you protect your business data with Barracuda. Go to barracuda.com/ransomware to learn more.
Pay fast with the Master Pass. Don't buy it. Master Pass it. Pay fast with the Master Pass. Simple and easy. Pay fast with the Master Pass. Don't buy it. Master Pass it. Pay fast with the Master Pass. Secure and so easy.
MasterPass, the simple, secure way to pay from MasterCard. Accepted at select merchants.
Don't buy it. MasterPass it.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. From now until January 31st, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition. Aetna, Coventry, United Healthcare, and Harkin Health no longer offer health insurance subsidies even if you qualify. One company still does, and they still offer plans that provide access to Northwestern Memorial, University of Chicago, and Rush University Medical Centers. Call me. I can help.
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Obama's saying farewell. Okay, bye at 7:07.
And free tickets to see Michael Medved. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Rain, sleet, and snow falling across the area. Gusty winds out of the south at 20. Forecast after Fox, WIND, Chicago News Time, 7.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony.
Turn back before it's too late.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer urging Republicans not to dump Obamacare.
Don't scrap it and make America sick again.
Democrats talk for hours late into the night. Senator Elizabeth Warren says
they don't have a clue what to do next.
But Republicans say they're working on a better health care law. Incoming counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, says Obamacare has failed.
Premiums have increased in some places by 50 to 100%. Choices are fewer. Quality is less.
Today at the Senate, confirmation hearings begin for the first two of President-elect Trump's cabinet nominees. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Attorney General designate Senator Jeff Sessions is going before the Senate Judiciary Committee. And in an unusual move, Senate colleague Democrat Cory Booker will testify against him, expressing concerns about his voting rights record. Democratic Senator Chris Coons, who sits on the committee, says Sessions will face tough questions.
We have 3 different panels of witnesses, things that happened a long time ago and things that happened more recently.
Also today, a confirmation hearing will begin for General James Kelly for Homeland Security Secretary. Dave.
Rachel, closing arguments are today at Dylan Roof's sentencing. Then the jury will deliberate life in prison or the death penalty for his killing spree at a Charleston, South Carolina church. Northern California and Nevada are expecting more snow and rain today, and that could add to flooding.
The river's supposed to come up, and it's going to get even deeper.
She's in Guerneville. This woman's apartment was flooded in Morgan Hill, California.
Most of their furniture are busted from the bottom because of the water, so they had to throw those away.
Some areas got over a foot of rain over the weekend. There was also a lot of snow, and the rivers are rising. Some people needed to be rescued from rushing water by boat or helicopter. A celebration at Clemson after winning the college football championship, beating Alabama 35-31. In a fantastic finish, Clemson scored the winning touchdown with just 1 second left. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Rain, sleet, and snow falling across the area this morning. 36 degrees. Winds are south at 16 miles an hour. 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Classes at St. Charles East High School are canceled today after around 800 students called in sick yesterday. District spokesperson Jim Blaney says crews worked yesterday to bleach and disinfect the school. The issue began Saturday night when the boys' varsity basketball game was postponed because 10 members of that team were too ill to play. President Barack Obama returning to the city that launched his unlikely political career for one final speech.
There's still a lot of work that needs to be done on the speech, so the president will be doing a lot of thinking between now and then, thinking about what he wants to say and what sort of presentation he wants to make to the American public.
Presidential spokesperson Josh Earnest, the president's speech before thousands this evening, is his last chance to try and define what his presidency meant for America. The latest attempt at a state budget is on hold in Springfield, but Illinois Senate leaders from both sides spent yesterday scrambling to put forward a package of bills they say could bring an end to the 2-year budget standoff. Everything from new casinos to a bailout for Chicago teacher pensions and a higher minimum wage were on the table. Senate Republican leader Christine Radogno says the hope is now that lawmakers will have a starting point. Illinois' largest state employees union now says it will make significant concessions to the governor in hopes of resuming contract negotiations, and it may also include a wage freeze. State Council of AFSCME issued a letter late yesterday saying they'll also pay higher health care premiums. The union wants to resume negotiations after talks with Governor Bruce Rauner's administration broke down and a state board ruled negotiations were at an impasse. That means Rauner can impose whatever contract conditions that he chooses. NBA last night, Oklahoma City beat the Bulls 109-94. Your college football national championship game winner is Clemson. Last night in the NHL, Alex Ovechkin tied Canadiens great Maurice Rocket Richard with his 544th career goal. The news, a service of Cintas. Ready for the workday? Let Cintas help prepare you. Cintas, your source for fresh mats, crisp uniforms, first aid, and safety solutions. Get started at Cintas.com. Cintas, ready for the workday. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. Is hating our obsession with hate crime laws a hate crime? Acts of barbarism, such as those recently perpetrated against a special needs man in Chicago, invariably prompt a desultory national discussion. Rather than reflecting on what kind of culture begets those who make sport of preying on the mentally impaired, too many conservatives fall into the left's trap of hate crime mania. If you start from the left's premises, you get the left's conclusions. Those worried about a double standard when it comes to the application of hate crime laws should be worried instead about its equal application in furtherance of the left's dismal identity politics. The focus instead should be on deconstructing the cheap moral indignation coming from those who have otherwise cheered the degradation of our culture at every turn, only to plead innocent bystander when they're forced to confront the results of their advocacy, courtesy of Facebook Live. We should take the opportunity to develop the conclusions that flow from conservative premises when we have vacuous newsreaders like CNN's Don Lemon contemplating the existence of evil and suddenly discovering that mom and dad matter. This is a teachable moment, not a Me Too one.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? At Ford, we go further to make it protective by offering vehicles with the most 5-star crash ratings. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. 5-star ratings based among full-line brands offering multiple cars, pickup trucks, and utilities. Government 5-star safety ratings are part of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's new car assessment program. Go to safercar.gov for details. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
These days, you gotta have a side hustle. And I'm not talking about a 9-to-5. I'm talking about driving with Uber. It's the ultimate side hustle. You wanna earn extra money? Drive with Uber. Have a few spare hours here and there? Drive with Uber. You like the idea of being your own boss? Drive with Uber. You make a great boss. You're probably driving right now. You should be earning. If you want your car to start making you money, then visit uber.com/drive now and get your side hustle on today. That's uber.com/drive now.
7:06. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound 53 at the Adams Tollway I-90. There's stall blocking a center lane. Northbound Veterans Memorial stop and go from 75th to the Reagan Tollway. Northbound Tri-State, the delays are Southwest Highway to the 83rd Street Toll, Plainfield Road to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. The Edens runs 30 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. The Kennedy, now 39 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, a little quicker in the Express, outbound 26 minutes. The Eisenhower, 55 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 40 from Manheim, outbound 32 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 40 from the Tri-State, outbound 35 minutes to 355. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, heavy 18th from the Stevenson. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, windy and milder with periods of rain, high 45. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low 25. A thick cloud cover for tomorrow with a shower in the afternoon, high of 42. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
36, rain, sleet, and snow officially falling at O'Hare. Wind south at 16. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering. Get top-tier catering for a budget-friendly price. Plan your party now at tastycatering.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Watson, touchdown! Hunter Renfrow. Little man makes another enormous play.
You've had 3 serious catastrophic incidents, and now you've had a security breach at the front side, which isn't catastrophic, but it does point to a vulnerability.
Here's the great irony. Leader McConnell asked for the exact same things we're asking for in 2009 to President-elect Obama. And here's the one difference. All of President-elect Obama's nominees complied.
Everybody will be properly vetted, as they have been in the past.
I think they'll all pass. I think every nomination will be, they're all at the highest level.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Obama gives his farewell speech appropriately in Chicago, the worst governed city in America, with the highest per capita murder rate. One of the highest, certainly.
And doors open 3 hours early. They open at 5 p.m.
So
People
much to
already
go
lining
over.
up. Yeah, I know. And I'm going over at Craigslist right now, all the tickets that are for sale. $2,500. Somebody's trying to sell a pair for $6,000.
Is that Michelle O, by any chance? The ticket seller?
Somebody in South Shore is trying to sell some for $3,000. It's just amazing, all these ticket prices. So all those people that stood in line were just trying to make money.
Well, there's a lot to cover over 8 years, of course. I mean, there's the sale of guns to Mexican drug lords. There's the use of the IRS as a tool of oppression against people with different political or religious beliefs. I'm sure that'll be covered. The targeting of journalists like James Rosen by the Justice Department. That'll be. But then there's also, of course, I mean, the signature accomplishment of his administration. It's Obamacare.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he was previewing his view on that signature accomplishment now that it is under assault by the incoming president of the United States, as well as continued assault by congressional Republicans. But now they are in a position to actually do something about it. Making the rounds over the weekend was President Obama, and look, he's willing to listen to anybody who's got a better idea than he advanced via Obamacare. This is President Obama in a Vox.com forum.
If, in fact, there's going to be a massive undoing of what's 1/6 of our economy, then the Republicans need to put forward very specific ideas about how they're going to do it. People need to be able to debate it. They need to be able to study it the same way they did when we passed the Affordable Care Act, and let the American people gauge, is this going to result in something better than what Obamacare has produced? And if they're so convinced that they can do it better, they shouldn't be afraid to make that presentation. It is really interesting to try to figure out, why is it that they're trying to rush the repeal so quick? I mean, what is it that they're afraid of? Why wouldn't they want to say, here's our plan, and show side by side, here's why our plan is better than what Obamacare has produced? Because they have said absolutely, adamantly, that they can do it better. I am saying to every Republican right now, if you, in fact, can put a plan together that is demonstrably better than what Obamacare is doing, I will publicly support repealing Obamacare and replacing it with your plan.
I mean, it's just the hysterical. He really is the sophist in chief. There's so much there, beginning with this idea that a takeover of 1/6 of our economy is something not to be done without thought and care. Well, that's what Obamacare did. It was a backdoor takeover of 1/6 of our economy. Now he's suggesting, hey, you're talking about 1/6 of our economy. And it was hotly debated. It was hotly debated by the people who said we have to pass it to find out what's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The Republican proposals that were discarded, it was passed in a strict party line vote. And then this last thing, and he keeps doing, I mean, in addition saying, if they can come up with a better plan, I'll publicly support it. How comical.
Yeah,
but
and then he's calling it Trump care.
Right.
too.
You can call it Trump care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I have no pride of authorship. I wouldn't have pride of authorship in Obamacare either, so I understand that. But here's the other thing. If you can cover more people, well, you could have a government takeover, formal government takeover, single payer, which is ultimately where the left wants to go, and quote unquote cover more people. But you see, it's not about covering more people without taking into consideration things like quality of care, choice of care, cost of care. So all that 90-second riff you heard is one disingenuous trope after another. And unfortunately, tonight, I fear you're going to hear 90 minutes of disingenuous tropes, one after the other. But for more on the Obamacare repeal, as well as the farewell speech and the transition to a new administration. We're happy to be joined again by our friend Tevi Troy. He's a former Deputy Secretary for Health and Human Services. He's also the author of the book, Shall We Wake the President? 2 Centuries of Disaster Management from the Oval Office. Tevi, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hey, I'm happy to be on, but you don't need me because you're doing great talking about Obamacare and the farewell speech. You're cracking me up.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so enough of me, the dancing monkey over here. Let's get to a serious policy person. And what about this debate that's even going on within conservative and Republican circles, this repeal and then the replacement, whether it's Tom Price's legislation or some facsimile of it, that will come in the next couple of months. Do you think it needs to be packaged together, or can there be a little gap so that Republicans keep that promise that's so important and use that as the lever to introduce the replacement?
What you're talking about, Dan, really is a tactical question of whether they can find some way to get the thing done together, or you should just use the procedural method of reconciliation to get rid of Obamacare with only 50-plus votes in the Senate, and then work to put together a replacement that includes something to get over the 60-vote hurdle. And remember, there's 10 Democrats who are in Trump-won states who are up for re-election in 2018. So I think there is some room to get bipartisanship, and I think bipartisanship would be a good thing in that Obamacare, as you said, was passed with no Republican votes, and that's why the American people aren't accepting it. If you had a bipartisan alternative, then we would have something that would be lasting.
So what is the plan? I mean, how will Republicans replace Obamacare?
Well, the plans, you mentioned Dr. Price, and he has been working on legislation for multiple years, but it includes a number of ideas that Republicans have talked about for a long time. It includes health savings accounts, purchasing of insurance across state lines, association health plans so you can get tax benefits for getting health care, not just through your employer, but through other ways as well, such as your union, your civic association, your religious organization, and then also tort reform, which would save over $50 billion over 10 years. And CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, scored a plan along these lines in 2009 when Obama didn't want to hear it because it was a Republican plan, but CBO said that a plan along those lines would reduce the cost of premiums. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to increase access by making it cheaper and more affordable, not by forcing people to do it and subsidizing them if they do it.
So, I mean, as somebody who is inside HHS and that bureaucracy, you know, we wish things were a light switch and it would go from thought and passage to implementation that quickly, but it doesn't happen that quickly. You know, realistically, just to kind of temper people's expectations, how quickly can we dig this up from the roots and then, transition with as little disruption as possible to more of a market-oriented health insurance system in the country, the way that Dr. Tom Price has envisioned, or again, close approximations of that vision?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, Dan, because there's two issues of transition, and they seem to get conflated. One is the period between when you repeal it and then when you pass replacement, if you want to go that path. That would be a transition period. But also there's the position from when you repeal it and have the replacement and when the replacement actually takes effect. And it seems to me that 2 years would probably be enough time. Maybe if you want to be extra cautious, take 3. The government, as you know, and as you were saying, is not always that quick about things. The Obamacare launch was not so well done, as you know, and the government computer folks aren't the best. So giving it 3 years might be a little better than a 2-year approach, but I would think in that window, 2 to 3 years.
And so, I mean, just to put a fine point on that, so 2 to 3 years, so people need to contemplate the idea that they're going to be dealing with, Obamacare in practice for the next 24 months before you can really transition to something that that is going to provide more choice and drive down cost and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, even if you passed the repeal tomorrow, you couldn't necessarily start a new system that same day because the insurance plans take a while not only to develop, but they have to be advertised and people have to take them up. So it does take a little time, and I think that makes sense. But that doesn't mean you can't make that transition to what you guys were saying, which was more affordable, more accessible, and higher quality care.
Yeah, and without competition, you can't bring the cost down. So that said, did anyone benefit from Obamacare?
Sure. There are people who did not have health insurance before who got subsidized and now get it as a result of the ACA. But we're talking a universe of maximum 20 million people, I would say, and some of those people could have gotten care other ways. Some of them were Medicaid eligible already but weren't taking advantage of it. But there's 320 million people in this country, and a lot of them saw their costs go up, they saw their choices reduced, and they saw more restrictions imposed upon healthcare. So it's not like the healthcare system got better for 320 million people, but there were some people who were subsidized and got healthcare as a result.
We're talking to Tavi Troy, former Deputy Secretary at Health and Human Services, White House aide. He's the author of the book, Shall We Wake the President? 2 Centuries of Disaster Management from the Oval Office. A lot of disaster creation from the Oval Office in the last 8 years. I wonder what you would advise the president to say, whether it's on Obamacare or maybe just kind of general tone and angle of incidents in his farewell speech tonight. If you were in the inner circle, batting around ideas with one Valerie Jarrett.
So my number one thing would be to go through it with a red pen and strike out the word I. You've got to make it less about you. I know President Obama likes to make it about himself and often uses the first-person pronoun, but you got to make it more about the American people, we, what we're trying to accomplish, and where America is going in the world. But if it's just about him, then I think that's just an ego dance.
All right. And what, besides the killing of Osama bin Laden, what do you think President Obama accomplished while in office for 8 years?
Oh, I'm afraid to do a long pause on the radio.
Yeah, right.
It does remind me of the story when Richard Nixon was running for president and Eisenhower was asked about Nixon's top accomplishments as vice president, and Eisenhower said, "If you give me a week, I might think of one," which was really damaging to Nixon's campaign, but accurate in this case.
Yes, that was a question that has no answer, so don't feel bad. Tavi Troy, former HHS Deputy Secretary and the author of the book, Shall We Wake the President? 2 Centuries of Disaster Management from the Oval Office. Tavi, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
What kind of tone is President Obama going to take tonight?
I think he's going to do it.
Is he going to be down with the strugglers? Is he going to be uppity white guy? What's he going to be?
I think Lynn Miranda wrote the speech, and it's all going to be in rhymed verse, which would be entertaining. I'd like to see him try and pull it off.
Forecast for today, in case you're standing outside waiting to get in, because it is first come, first serve. So all of you people buying tickets for thousands of dollars, just remember that when they put you back in the nosebleed seats. 38 degrees right now, rain on and off throughout the day, a high of 45 degrees. And then tomorrow, thick cloud cover with a shower in the afternoon. Still mild for this time of year, a high of 42 degrees. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy. And the Eden's inbound delays start around Church Street. It's 30 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose outbound 21. The Kennedy 51 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, a little quicker in the Express. Outbound 39 minutes. The Eisenhower now an hour and 4 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 48 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 38 to Thorndale. Stevenson 58 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 35. Bryan 23 minutes. 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive. Slow Belmont to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound Tri-State, there's slow pockets from Southwest Highway to 31st. Then from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve, it's very heavy. Northbound Veterans Memorial, slow Boughton, most of the way up to St. Charles. Southbound 53 has delays, Rand to Kirchhoff. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
No more excuses, gentlemen. It's a new year, and you need to stop putting things off, especially when it comes to taking care of your health. Dan Proft here. I know we all hate going to the doctor. That's why Low T Center makes it quick and easy to get your testosterone levels checked. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll know your results in about 20 minutes. So if you're drinking coffee or energy drinks just to get through the day, or if you always feel like you need a nap, you may have low T. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy and raise your cholesterol and possibly cause weight gain. I personally recommend going to my friends at Low T Center. They accept most health insurance. They're in-network for most providers and have flexible hours, including on Saturday, so don't hesitate to find out what your number is this new year. I'm sure glad I did. All of their products are FDA approved. So call my friends at Low T Center and tell them I sent you. Call 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305. Again, the number is 630-409-4305. Or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. Stay warm this winter. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for winter storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so in light of Meryl Streep's remarks on Sunday night, and because I so enjoy her commentary, Camille Paglia has a piece in The Hollywood Reporter, How to Age Disgracefully in Hollywood.
How to age disgracefully?
Yes, it's mostly
Okay.
about aging women, like Meryl Streep. Although she doesn't fit into this category of artists that Paglia is writing about. Camille Paglia, I mean, she's just so entertaining, very, very sharp. You know, I'm not on board with everything she says and does, but if you've never read Sexual Personae,
I'm sorry, what am I
then Sexual Personae, her magnum opus, then you should read it, love it, live it.
Got things to watch and things to read, and where there's not enough time in the day.
A lot of homework.
Okay.
She writes in The Hollywood Reporter, does Camille Paglia, the main problem facing today's aging women is not sexism, but the lingering youth cult of the 1960s. Traditional mating patterns have been disrupted. Marriage is postponed by extended education and early career demands. Because of easy divorce, middle-aged women are now competing with younger women for both men and jobs, and thus are resorting to costly interventions to look 20 years younger than they are.
Don't be giving me the stink eye.
I see you scowling because you're thinking about all the people in your social circle who fit this description, aren't you? No comment. I understand.
Continue, please.
Yes, if aging stars want to be taken seriously, they must find or recover a mature persona. Stop cannibalizing the young. Scrambling to stay relevant, Madonna is addicted to pointless provocations like her juvenile Instagrams or her trashy outfit with strapped-up bare buttocks and duct-taped nipples. And at the museum, the Metropolitan Museum of Art Gala in May, she's forgotten the legacy of her great precursor, Marlene Dietrich, who retained her class and style to the end of her public life. In her Billboard Award speech, Madonna oddly cited David Bowie as her real muse. But Bowie did not cling to his revolutionary gender-bending Ziggy Stardust the way Madonna doggedly regresses to the sassy street urchin of her 1980s debut. That is a sentence. That is why I love Camille Paglia. I mean, that is a sentence, and it's true. All women performers, writes Paglia, should study the magnificent precedent of Lena Horne, a fiercely outspoken civil rights activist who maintained total dignity and gorgeous elegance over her 60-plus year singing career.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Most disappointing about Madonna's speech was her collapse into rote male bashing, which has escalated in Hollywood and surely will increase its cultural isolation from the national audience. The young Madonna was refreshingly sane in her teasing affection for men. The top movie actresses once projected an emotional depth, composure, and adult authority that can only be called womanliness. Ingrid Bergman, Susan Hayward, Elizabeth Taylor, Deborah Kerr, Sophia Loren were no victims. They were strong-willed personalities on screen and off, but all of them liked men, and it showed. Women in or out of Hollywood who dress like girls and erase all signs of aging are disempowering themselves and aggressing into territory that belongs to the young. They are surrendering their right to self-definition to others. Men are not the enemy. They, too, are subject to nation's iron laws. For the sake of its own art, Hollywood needs less sex war, not more, writes Palia. And while Meryl Streep doesn't fit the category of Madonna in her critique,
no,
her speech on Sunday night did fit the category of projecting victimhood where it doesn't exist.
Yeah, and
Thank
the
you.
victims being Hollywood, the media, and foreigners.
Right. Thank you, Camille Paglia, for some sanity out of Hollywood.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm worried that my employees are costing me a fortune every month in damaged or missing inventory. I'm not sure how to solve this problem or who to turn to.
Alarm Detection Systems installs video cameras that watch over your place of business, reduce loss, and increase profits with advanced security. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
I can't get the alarm company on the phone to save my life. My alarm's going off all the time, and I don't know why. It's driving me crazy.
Call Alarm Detection Systems. We have live reps answering our phones 24/7, 365. No auto attendant. Call 630-844-6300. Get better customer service in return. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com. Alarm license number 127000143.
AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, join Michael Medved for a special luncheon on Thursday, February 2nd, when he retells the story of the American Miracle presented by Active Alarm Group. Learn how a record of improbabilities demonstrate that historical events unfolded according to a master plan. Tickets start at just $32 and include a plated lunch. VIP tickets are also available, include a meet and greet with Michael Medved, plus a copy of his new book. He'll sign it too. So visit 560theanswer.com/miracle for more information. And right now, you can win a pair of tickets for free by being caller number 10. Caller number 10 wins a free pair of tickets to see Michael Medved. The number, 312-642-5600. Good luck. And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I wonder how many people will be shot and or killed during Obama's speech. Just in Chicago. You know?
It's a good question.
1 every 2 hours murdered in Chicago. Speaking of Chicago, CPS, Michael Hendershot, a Chicago lawyer, wonders why he can't volunteer at his kid's library in Chicago. We'll discuss that with him at 7:37.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and check in with the one and only Mike Scott.
37 degrees, cloudy skies, winds gusting out of the south at 20 miles an hour. Classes at St. Charles East High School canceled today. Around 800 students out of 2,500 at the school called in sick yesterday. District spokesperson Jim Blaney says the symptoms that some teens are experiencing are consistent with a stomach virus. Search continues this morning for the man accused of killing an Orlando, Florida police officer. A $60,000 reward is offered for information leading to the arrest of Markeith Lloyd. Police around the U.S. investigating at least 16 bomb threats against Jewish community centers and buildings in 9 states. New Jersey's junior U.S. Senator Cory Booker will make a move today never seen before. The Democrat expected to testify against Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions, who's being nominated for Attorney General by President-elect Donald Trump.
We've seen consistently Jeff Sessions, as Senator Jeff Sessions, voting against everything from the Matthew Shepard Act, voting against or speaking out against key ideals around the Voting Rights Act.
It's believed this senator has never testified against another senator nominated for a presidential cabinet position. Relatives of 3 Americans killed in ISIS attacks in Belgium and France are suing Twitter for not keeping members of that terror group off of its platform. President Barack Obama returning to the city tonight that launched his unlikely political career for one final speech.
There's still a lot of work that needs to be done on the speech. So the president will be doing a lot of thinking between now and then, thinking about what he wants to say and what sort of presentation he wants to make to the American public.
The speech at McCormick Place tonight. Chicago is where the nation's first black president declared victory in 2008. CTA will add extra service tonight for the presidential farewell address. Longer Green Line trains and service along with number 3 King Drive buses running more frequently. In fact, even many city museums will close early: the Field, the Adler, and the Shed. Chicago sports, NBA last night. Dwayne Wade had 22, but the Bulls stubbed their toe on Oklahoma City, 109-94. Your national champion in college football is Clemson. The news, a service of Office Depot Office Max. Small businesses can stock up and save on ink at Office Depot Office Max. Buy one HP ink cartridge, get the second one 40% off in-store and online. Office Depot Office Max. Gear up for great. Ends 114, limit 2. Multi-packs will count as 1. 7:35, we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager is disappointed in today's university.
I don't think that 1 out of 1,000 college graduates knows about the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. I do believe that they know about carbon emissions, however. That is what they're taught. And of course, they're taught about white privilege. Every college kid is taught about white privilege. It's a sick place, the university.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
A Beautyrest Platinum mattress brings you innovative design and superior style. With Beautyrest Platinum, experience elegantly orchestrated sleep. Enjoy precision and control with a Beautyrest Platinum sleep system.
If you own a business, you'll do everything you can to keep the lights on. The thing is, keeping those lights on can be much more cost-effective than you ever imagined. And Twin Supplies can help. Twin Supplies specializes in helping businesses, public entities, and nonprofits get energy efficient with their lighting and take advantage of incentives from utility companies to help with energy improvement costs. From restaurants to schools, churches, and stadiums, they'll walk you through every step to realize maximum money savings and energy efficiency. Your maintenance staff will spend less time changing bulbs with worry-free fixtures that feature up to a 10-year warranty. Plus, the quality of your lighting will improve, resulting in improved working conditions and safety. Find out how much your commercial business can save with a free energy audit from Twin Supplies. Utility companies change their incentives frequently and funds can run out. Now is the time to take action. Don't wait. Call 630-590-5138 or log on to twinsupplies.net and take charge of your business's energy efficiency. Twinsupplies.net. It's that wonderful time of the year when you get to reconnect with family and friends, to celebrate, catch up, and have fun. At Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, they call that FaceTime. And whether it's around your table or theirs, Augie's has been helping families and friends celebrate this busy and exciting season with great food at a great price for almost 40 years. Dine on fresh-made signature subs, hefty and fully loaded with the highest quality meats and cheeses. Or try the homemade Italian beef sandwiches, hand-rolled meatballs, burgers, pizza, and fresh salads. Eat in surrounded by authentic rock and roll memorabilia and enjoy the soundtrack of your glory days. Or pick up and go. Augie's offers fast, fresh, affordable food designed to make your special time with family and friends simple and easy. Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli in Carroll Stream or West Chicago. Get your party started now. Check out the extensive holiday catering menu at Augie's at augustinos.com and make FaceTime happen with Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli.
7:38. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Like the inbound Edens runs 32 minutes like Cook to Montrose. Outbound 29 to Kennedy is now an hour. From O'Hare to downtown, outbound 43 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 38 minutes. Stevenson, 58 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Orion, 23 minutes. 95 to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, stop and go Harlem to 31st. From the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Veterans Memorial slow Boughton to the Reagan Tollway. Butterfield to St. Charles. The Army Trail toll to 290. Other tollways are okay. Traffic service of LifeLock. For having coffee or breakfast, if you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information thieves can use to steal your identity. Hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to lifelock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Windy today. And a milder afternoon, high near 45. Periods and on and off rain showers throughout the day. Low of 27 overnight. It's 36 right now. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Airwaves. Check out the show that's all about making money in real estate every Sunday at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, text from 708. I swear your show just keeps getting better and better. There's a lot of super content. Well, thank you, 708. I mean, that's mostly
real nice of you.
That's real sweet.
Well, I don't know why I'm talking like this.
So this story, Amy, this would be of particular interest to you. You are a CPS parent. You have two young gentlemen named Peyton and Eli for the purposes of the show.
Well, yeah, I'm
attending CPS schools.
Assistant coach for girls basketball, 5th and 6th grade girls basketball. There can be no bigger honor than that.
Peyton and Eli shunted aside for the 6th grade girls basketball team. Duly noted.
Well, they wouldn't let me coach the boys. No, the boys' role slot was already taken.
So 6th grade girls basketball team you coach as well. This is over at the school named for a Catholic bigot.
Here we go.
James G. Blaine
that's
Elementary.
What it says. Catholic bigot. Welcome to Catholic bigot, James G.
Welcoming
Blaine
Catholic
Elementary.
bigots since 1963.
Stop it.
So
the school's been around for 90 years.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it's one of the number one top CPS schools.
So you're very active in your school.
Yeah, I used to be a lunchroom lady. So sit down.
Right. Yeah.
That's my favorite.
And
with the hairnet, and gloves,
the hairnets, the
lunchroom lady arms,
the ersatz mole that you had on just to look the part. So you volunteer, you coach, you do all those things. Other people want to do that too for their kids. This story, this op-ed in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend, the library lockout at our elementary school, Wall Street Journal, and it's about Chicago. It's about A.N. Pritzker Elementary. I wonder if the Pritzker family knows about this. They do now. And it's an op-ed written by a Chicago attorney named Michael Hendershot, who's got a 6-year-old daughter at Pritzker Elementary, A.N. Pritzker Elementary, one of 600 schools in CPS. Mm-hmm. His daughter enjoys reading, but she can't get books from the library right now because budget cuts, quote unquote, have meant that the Pritzker school librarian was laid off when parents volunteered to keep the library open by just running shifts, volunteer shifts. They received an admonishment from the teachers union. A formal complaint was filed, and a union representative appeared at the school and said that the union is not going to allow parental volunteers in the library. Well, why would the union be against parental volunteers in the library? To get an answer to that question, we're pleased to be joined by the aforesaid Chicago attorney, Mike Hendershot. Mike, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So you parents at the school here wanted to organize and make up the difference for the position that was vacant so that the library could stay open and kids like your daughter could access the books they want. And you're not allowed to do that. Why aren't you allowed to do that?
Well, I think the union's concern is that having parents volunteer in the library to check books in and out is replacing a reserved union position under the union's contract with CPS. So, in other words, the union's claim is that the library can only be staffed by a union member, and so parents checking books in and out essentially replaces that position with non-union members, and therefore, according to the union, it's not to be permitted.
But I thought it was all about the children, helping the children and shutting them out of the library because now it's being used for what, to teach dance classes?
Yeah, the library is currently being used for dance classes. It's really, I certainly think it's outrageous. The union would say that the reason for the issue is the budget cuts that led to the school losing the librarian. The union would also say that a union librarian offers much more than just checking books in and out. But I just don't think those arguments go very far. I mean, at the end of the day, CPS has a lot of problems. The librarian was cut. The librarian's not coming back. So the question is simply what can be done about it for the rest of this year. The parents had a solution that wasn't going to cost anybody any money, that was going to allow kids to at least keep getting books in and out, even though maybe not replace everything a librarian could do. And the union would rather have the library stay closed to make a larger point about the CPS budget issues, essentially demanding that the parents subordinate their children's own education in the interest of CPS maybe moving the needle, the union may be moving the needle a little bit to get slightly better funding from CPS. It's just hard to justify.
It seems like, the union, I don't think they're going far enough. I mean, just shutting down the library, people could sneak in and read. Maybe what they really should do is have a little book burning party in the yard and, just eliminate the temptations of, reading books.
Well, I certainly think they would say that their position is grounded in real concerns, which is wanting more funding to better help children overall within the CPS system. That's their stock line. But I think what we see here is that when push comes to shove, it's really the union is really most interested in job preservation for adults rather than furthering the interests of children. When those two interests come into conflict, it just really shows to me that things have really gone too far. I mean, it's just a total lack of common sense to say that these kids can't use their library because there's a larger budget dispute between.
Why can't you guys have a few bake sales and pay for the librarian's salary?
Well, a few bake.
Ongoing
bake sale.
Actually, that's an interesting point. I mean, another part of this is that Pritzker's historically been a really union-friendly school. The parents a few years ago raised tens of thousands of dollars to refurbish the library and to stock it with books in accordance with what the teachers organizations say was sort of standard modern best practices. So it's not even that the library is full of books and chairs, desks, et cetera, that are paid for by taxpayers. The Pritzker parents actually sort of built that library in a lot of ways. And so talk about raising money to sort of provide access to books. That's already been done. And those books are there, and the teachers union is not letting the kids access it. And I think it's, I would really draw a distinction between the teachers union and the teachers themselves. The teachers at Pritzker, in our experience, have been uniformly great. Our daughter loves it there, and I think a lot of them would privately admit to being uncomfortable with the position the union has taken. But the union, on the other hand, is a bureaucracy acting in its own interests, and I think that's how you end up with a situation like this.
Well, yes. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I'm sure that's true about the rank and file teachers at the school, but, that kind of private agreement where everybody whispers, boy, that just perpetuates the status quo, and it perpetuates this very interesting deal where a lot of parents at Pritzker are waking up to a reality that other people have known for a long time, that, how much is enough for the union? No such thing. How much more do you want? More. Always more. And, even something like with this parental volunteering thing, I assume this was a stopgap short-term solution, that parents weren't conceiving that this would be parents doing rotations for the entirety of their school, their children's matriculation at the Pritzker school. But even that is not sufficient, that this kind of stopgap measure of parental volunteerism. And so I wonder if there are parents, raising money, writing checks, doing all the things you've just described to refurbish and to stock the library, to try and be supportive, to try and play ball, to try and find common ground. I wonder if there's a little bit of being mugged by reality going on now among parents at the Pritzker School about just exactly what the Chicago Teachers Union really is.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was really an eye-opener for a lot of parents. And the thing that's interesting is, I think the union does a really effective job of sort of glossing over these kinds of issues. I remember when some of the parents first started talking about what happened here, a lot of the other parents just had no idea. They thought that, well, the librarian position got cut, and so the libraries closed. They didn't realize that some other parents had come together and found a way to at least let students access books, and they were really stunned. And people have lives to live. They have jobs to work, kids to take care of. They're not hyper-focused on some of these issues like the union is, and the union has a lot of resources and a laser focus, and it's hard for people to sometimes know that these kind of things are going on, and that's part of why I thought it was important to make it known. Because there's ongoing issues here with the CPS budget and the union, and I think it's important that people have a full picture of the kinds of things that are actually happening in the schools.
Absolutely.
It's a great article. So where do you guys go from here?
Well, the response to the article has been great. There's certainly a larger point in there about the issues with the schools here in the city. But for me, I'm the father of a young child who loves reading, and first and foremost, I want to get her and her classmates access to books again. And the response to the article has been great. I'm trying to work with some folks to try to figure out some solutions to get books available to these kids. Hopefully that will bear fruit. But in the meantime, again, the response has been great. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have surfaced this issue, and I think I'm optimistic that hopefully we move the needle a little bit, and we can help not only the kids at Pritzker to maybe fix the immediate situation, but also shine a light on some of these larger issues that go on with some of the positions that the union can sometimes take in the schools.
Fighting the union to get books to kids. Is there a better commentary on the Chicago public school system? Michael Hendershot, Chicago attorney and parent of a young woman at Pritzker.
First grade.
Well, that's a young woman.
A young girl.
Pritzker, okay, sorry.
Dan's not a parent yet.
Pritzker School, thank you for your commentary. I'm glad you didn't just kind of privately agree. I'm glad you took to the pages of the Wall Street Journal to raise this issue. Very well done. Thanks for joining us, Mike Hendershot. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Scoundrels are not exclusive to politics. They're smart enough to occupy necessity service industries like the automotive business. As a real estate broker, my car is a lifeline and a total necessity to my business and my family, which is why I had to seek out an honest, truthful auto service provider. For over the past decade, I've put my trust in Craigies Mobile Service Center on Lake Street in Addison. Craigies handles full auto repair on foreign and domestic vehicles. They pride themselves on providing you the best cost-effective auto repair and expert advice. Craigies has full service bays and truck lifts that can service and manage your whole fleet. They also provide priority service for your business and can track each vehicle, alerting you to the repair before you need it, keeping your guys on the road. Since 1959, Craigies Mobile Service Center has thrived through 10 presidential administrations, giving you reputable, dependable, and honest auto repair. Do yourself a favor. Just go into Craigies on Lake Street in Addison. See my guy Vic. He'll set you up. Tell him Sean from Elmwood Park sent you. I approve of this message.
Oh, it's that time. Time to get your vacation on and say hello. And say hello. Oh, my next gen's not up. Let's try that again.
Hola!
Thank you to a great way to start 2017, and that's to book your trip to somewhere warm and sunny, somewhere like Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. That's where we're heading this year. Joe Walsh, Dan Proft.
So how much should you recommend people applying?
And myself will be heading to...
That was when I did a school production of Arthur.
Right.
I played the Dudley Moore character.
To Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spots, unlimited luxury resort. It just opened in November. Take a look at this place online. It is spectacular. Adults only. Sorry, kiddies. 5 gourmet restaurants, 7 bars, unlimited premium drinks, all the bells and whistles, sparkling pools. The beach is excellent. And guess what? They have beach volleyball. Who wants to play? So join us in Punta Cana. Get more information and book your trip by visiting 560theanswer.com, keyword passport. Now, the trip is filling up fast, so do not wait. And the price that our good friends at Apple Vacations have secured for us is incredible and exclusive only to us, but it will expire. Don't miss out. 560theanswer.com, keyword passport.
Lately, it seems you're not feeling quite right, as if your body is working against you. Dr. Amy and Associates can help create a path to achieve optimal health. Experience personalized health care for your mind, body, and spirit at a practice that blends holistic and traditional medicine.
Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Harris-Nuon of Dr. Amy and Associates. As an integrative health and wellness center, we take a team approach to your health care, so we welcome the opportunity to work collaboratively with your current health care provider. We're different from today's typical standard of care because our focus is understanding the root cause of your health problem, not just treating the symptoms. It's a personalized approach that explores a wide range of proven treatments, and one that's focused on helping you achieve your health and wellness goals so you can achieve a full, happy, and satisfying life.
Call Dr. Amy and Associates to experience a whole-person integrative approach to health and wellness. 630-980-1400 or visit dramyandassociates.com. Dr. Amy and Associates, empowering people, changing lives.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And we want to say thanks to each and every one of you who helped us to reach our goal of providing food for a year and water for life for 2,000 kids and counting in Haiti and Guatemala.
Your generosity means that these children will have a shot at living a happy and healthy life despite the enormous challenges they face.
And just because the Christmas season is over and we're starting a new year, that doesn't mean the need has gone away. You can still make a difference in the life of a child by making a $50 donation to Food for the Poor. Food for the Poor is one of America's largest and most trusted charities. Since 1982, they've been helping the poorest of the poor by directing resources directly to those in the greatest need.
Just call 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-FOOD, or go to 560theanswer.com, keyword food.
And thanks to the many business benefactors who supported this campaign, when you hear their ads on the radio station this year, we'd ask that you support their businesses as a way of thanking them for their generosity.
Hi, Amy Jacobson here. You know, the best home improvement decision I ever made was to call CertaPro Painters. No joke. Last spring, their trained, talented painters magically reformed my porch. Property values actually went up. But now that winter is set in, let's get your interior painting done, and CertaPro Painters are the only ones to call. You know, CertaPro Painters is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year, and we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. When they come into your home, they are so quiet they won't wake a baby, and guess what? The best part is they clean up after themselves. So with this new year, you should refresh and renew your living space. Book your interior painting project today. For a free estimate, call our good friends over there at CertaPro at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com. And we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. I'm glad I called them. Each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
If you own or manage a company with recycling needs, your goal is to maximize profits while minimizing waste. Chicagoland is home to a leading recycling company stacked with experts in the latest technology and innovation to effectively manage a wide range of industrial waste, including paper, plastic, cardboard, pallets, as well as shredding and document destruction. For over 3 decades, eco and profit-conscious companies have depended on Combined Resources, Inc. for customized strategies and solutions based on company operational processes. Clients work directly with the Combined Resource partner to ensure first-rate customer care, commitment, and convenience. It's easy to find out how your company can benefit from their first-rate recycling services. Request a free audit by calling 630-916-1804 or visit combinedresources.us. Maximizing recycling profits and minimizing waste. That's 630-916-1804 or online at combinedresources.us.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Any trouble ahead for Trump cabinet nominees? We'll ask Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson at 8:08.
And why one man got a ticket for parking his car in his own driveway. But first, into the newsroom we go to another Michigan man. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching at this hour. St. Charles East High School canceling classes after hundreds of students call in sick. The president to give a farewell speech tonight at McCormick Place. Northwestern women's basketball player Jordan Hankins was found dead in her room on campus, and some games are canceled. Robbery and vehicle thefts on the rise at an Oakbrook Center mall. Thunder rout the Bulls last night. A windy and milder day ahead. Periods of rain in your forecast with a high of 45 and a low head of 27. We'll have your full forecast after Fox. And WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. A senator is about to be scrutinized at the Senate. Jeff Sessions, who President-elect Trump wants as Attorney General, is the first cabinet pick to face a confirmation hearing in a half hour. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, expect to hear questions about decades-old accusations of racism at the hearing, but Democratic Senator Chris Coons says he plans to stick to other issues, particularly Sessions' positions on criminal justice reform.
What I'm concerned about is the impact of the policies and positions, the legislation he's either blocked or advanced.
History could be made at Senator Sessions' confirmation hearing as his colleague, Democrat Cory Booker, testifies against him tomorrow, citing concerns about his record on voting rights. Sessions says as Attorney General, he will crack down on illegal immigrants and take down drug cartels. Dave?
Rachel, another hearing will start today for John Kelly, the Trump pick for the Homeland Security Secretary. Senate Democrats spent hours last night urging Republicans not to repeal Obamacare.
It will hurt millions of Americans.
That's Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. Al Franken says,
"You've got to have a plan, right? So let's just see it."
Well, Republicans are working on a replacement to a law they say failed, driving up health care costs. Dylan Roof hasn't put up a defense at his sentencing, and closing arguments are this morning. Then the jury that convicted him of hate crimes for the Charleston, South Carolina church massacre will consider the death penalty. Orlando police are still looking for a cop killer the day after Markeith Lloyd's accused of killing an officer outside a Walmart.
Investigators are desperately trying to find this suspect, Lloyd. People who live in this part of Orlando said they want him to be found. They cannot believe what happened. There is a $60,000 reward leading to the information for his arrest.
David Williams with Fox 35 TV. A sheriff's deputy died in a crash during yesterday's search. Was the Kim Kardashian West robbery of more than $10 million in jewelry an inside job? Paris police are investigating that. The reality star's driver and that driver's brother among the 17 in custody. Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies, 37 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Classes at St. Charles East High School canceled today. Over 800 students called in sick. District spokesperson Jim Blaney says the symptoms many of the teens are experiencing are consistent with a stomach virus. Cleaning crews worked yesterday to bleach and disinfect that school. President Barack Obama returning to the city that launched his unlikely political career for one final speech. The president's speech this evening at McCormick Place is his last chance to try and define what his presidency meant for America. The latest attempts at a state budget on hold in Springfield, but not before a flurry of activity from the Illinois Senate. As AM 560's David Stewart reports.
Senate President John Carleton and Minority Leader Christine Radogno say the bills are linked together and include budget issues along with a couple of the reforms that Governor Rouners demanded. Carleton says they'll be reintroduced Thursday when the new General Assembly is seated.
This is a budget. This is a budget package with reforms that Senator Radogno referred to.
Radogno says Republicans agree it's time to work together.
2 years has made people really realize how bad it can be when we don't work together.
Still not heard from, though, are Rauner or House Speaker Michael Madigan. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
And a federal judge has ruled Craig Breedlove, who set a land speed record at the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah in 1964, can now sue Chicago's Museum of Science and Industry for damaging the jet car that set the record. Oklahoma City beat the Bulls 109-94. Your college football national champion is Clemson. And the news service of Swap.com. Enjoy thrift shopping. With millions of items on Swap.com, you can shop anytime for clothing, toys, and more for the whole family. Now through March 15th. Save 20% on your first purchase with code SAVE20. Swap.com. Unleash your thrift instinct. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, the bankrupt American Apparel brand is being sold to Gildan, based in Montreal, Canada, known for its sweatsuits, t-shirts, activewear, and sports uniforms. Gildan expects the deal to close by early February. It will pay $88 million for American Apparel. The largest percentage of complaints to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau last year were about credit reporting, specifically that there was incorrect information. Complaints also involved taking too long to resolve credit report mistakes and inadequate help on the phone. Johnson & Johnson is getting ready to address concerns about drug costs. The Wall Street Journal says next month J&J will release a report explaining its prescription drug price increases, the average prices after discounts as well. The Dow closed down 76 yesterday, NASDAQ added 10, and the S&P was down 8. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity believes we need to build a cyber wall.
I've been saying that we need to fix cybersecurity. We need to beef it up. Well, Obama's known about this for the entire presidency of his. And what has he done to fix it? The only thing he's done is now speak out, 5 weeks after the election? Because it may advance a narrative to delegitimize Donald Trump?
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Test drive a Ford Escape and find out. With available EcoBoost power and a host of class-exclusive features designed to make life better. Compare Ford Escape next to a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V, and the reasons start to stack up. The 2017 Escape. That's Ford. And that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that you're probably driving right now. Sitting comfortably behind the wheel with a tasty caffeinated beverage in your cup holder. Well, if you were driving with Uber, you could be earning money right now too. That's because Uber is the ultimate side hustle. Extra cash whenever you want. Earning you can turn on and off, just like your car. This isn't just another job, it's a totally flexible way to earn. So go ahead, get your side hustle on. Visit uber.com/drive now. That's uber.com/drive now.
8:06 and a check of the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy has delays all the way in from O'Hare. It's an hour from the airport to downtown, 31 minutes from Montrose, 28 in the express. Outbound 43 to the airport. Eden's 32 minutes. Lake Cook Junction, outbound 29. The Eisenhower's an hour and 22 minutes slog from Thorndale to downtown. Hour and 3 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 52 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 34 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes from 95th to the Loop. Southbound Lakeshore Drive. Stop and go Hollywood to North Avenue. Anslow 18th to the Stevenson. North on Tri-State, delays are heavy from 95th to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Reagan Tollway a bit tight from the Aurora Toll to Eola. Veterans Memorial slow. Boughton most of the way to St. Charles. And from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, here is our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour with periods of rain, a high 45, then a mostly cloudy night. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour in the evening, low tonight 25. A shower around for the afternoon tomorrow, high 42. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
37 at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Watson. Touchdown! Hunter Renfrow.
little man makes another enormous play.
You've had 3 serious catastrophic incidents, and now you've had a security breach at the front side, which isn't catastrophic, but it does point to a vulnerability.
Here's the great irony. Leader McConnell asked for the exact same things we're asking for in 2009 to President-elect Obama. And here's the one difference. All of President-elect Obama's nominees complied.
Everybody will be properly vetted, as they have been in the past.
I think they'll all pass. I think every nomination will be, they're all at the highest level.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Jeff Sessions is about to, his nomination is about to be taken up by the Senate, and Cory Booker, the Democrat senator from New Jersey, is first up to testify. Kind of an unusual occurrence, a colleague testifying, an incumbent U.S. senator testifying against a U.S. senator who's up for nomination as the United States Attorney General.
And here's why he's doing it, Dan.
We've seen already in this country that we are at a strike point around issues of policing, around issues of civil rights, around issues of gay and lesbian equality within our country. And we've seen consistently Jeff Sessions, as Senator Jeff Sessions, voting against everything from the Matthew Shepard Act, voting against or speaking out against key ideals around the Voting Rights Act, taking measures to try to block criminal justice reform. He has a posture and a positioning that I think represent a real danger to our country and even nation.
That's funny.
Is he a danger to our country and our nation?
Right. The Fraternal Order of Police doesn't think so. They characterize him as someone who would be a police-first attorney general. Many African-American pastors in his home state of Alabama don't think so. Individuals like Bishop Kyle Searcy, a senior pastor at a church in Montgomery, Alabama, have weighed in to tell what they say is the truth about Jeff Sessions, that he is a decent man who treats people equitably and has been a good person to work with, both as a politician as well as a prosecutor. You've got even the New York Times. There's a good write-up in National Review on this, basically suggesting the New York Times did a straight news piece on Jeff Sessions, which is, for the New York Times, like a tacit endorsement of him.
Was that a first for them?
Well, I mean, it's almost but anyway, it's in New York. It's a National Review, The Corner, and the profile on him, as this NRO author makes the point, is so straightforward, straight news, that it's an implicit admission that all of the leftist claims of racism, that the leftist smears, are not true, and the record would seem to reflect that is the case. By the way, just on a related note, there's this other contretemps on the Hill.
A contretemps?
Missouri Congressman Lacy Clay tried to have, who's a Democrat representing Ferguson area, tried to have Duncan Hunter, a Republican from California, arrested for removing a student painting without permission from the Capitol. The student painting depicts police as animals in a standoff with Ferguson, Missouri protesters. And so this back and forth, the Capitol Police rejected the claim that this was theft and have taken no action. It's silly. But just so you know, the Democrats are doubling down on everything they were doing up until November 8th. Cory Booker is doing it. Lacy Clay from Ferguson, Missouri is doing it. And we'll just see where the American public is on some of these matters, including these confirmation hearings. And for more on that, we're pleased to be joined by our friend, a colleague of both Senator Sessions and Senator Booker. He is Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson. Senator Johnson, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Good morning. Happy New Year to you, and congratulations on the Packers. I have predicted the Packers will play the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl and lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I appreciate that prediction. I was at that game. I was, looking at the side of that end zone where they had that Hail Mary pass. Unbelievable how high Aaron Rodgers launched that ball. It was a great game. It was fun to be at the stadium.
This just in, Aaron Rodgers, good quarterback.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
And an all-around good guy.
So what about this rather unorthodox move by Cory Booker to testify today against the nomination of Jeff Sessions?
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate 8 years after President Obama assumed office, saying he was going to be, heal the racial divide. This nation, in many respects, is more racially divided than any time that I can remember in the most recent history. And Jeff Sessions was the lead co-sponsor with Senator Dick Durbin at sentencing reform, criminal justice reform. How can he say that he's blocked efforts? And maybe the most recent effort. Because a lot of those reforms are already taking place. So, listen, I've been serving with Jeff Sessions for 6 years. I view him as a person of real integrity, somebody who's going to respect the rule of law, who will support and certainly defend appropriately the men and women in blue, people who, let's face it, there have been targets painted on their back by certain elements in this country, which is completely wrong. So, no, I've got a lot of respect for Senator Sessions. My guess is he'll be confirmed.
Now, somebody who had their Senate confirmation hearing pushed back to next week is Betsy DeVos for Education Secretary. And some people say that, she has zero teaching experience, no education degree. How do you think her confirmation hearing is going to go?
Education degree. Oh, boy.
Well, I mean, she's been highly involved in education, making sure that all Americans, every child has access to a quality education, not trapped in failing schools. Giving parents and children choice in terms of where they can find a quality education. And of course, that's something that the teachers' unions don't like. She's there disrupting their monopoly. That let's face it, hasn't worked very well. I think Mitt Romney wrote a pretty powerful piece. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but it's unbelievable how spending has increased over the decades, and how the results have not improved marginal, at all, basically. And so we've got to take a look at the real results of all this money we're pouring into education, start asking some real hard questions, and maybe start going toward a different model away from the monopoly that the teachers' unions, the lock they have on educating our kids. They're not doing a very good job of it. They're not using our resources efficiently, and moving to greater choice and freedom for parents and their kids.
Yeah, I would say Betsy DeVos is one of Trump's best selections as a school reformer. I mean, and in your home state, Senator Johnson, of Wisconsin, you had Milwaukee, Democrats and Republicans back in the day. Polly Williams, a Democrat legislator, and Republican Governor Tommy Thompson make Milwaukee really a national leader in school choice. That's been expanded under Governor Walker and Wisconsin Republicans, and it's been exported to other states as well. And so I wonder, thinking about school choice in urban centers like a Milwaukee or Chicago, the importance you place on the promise that Donald Trump made to urban centers and particularly minority families that we're going to make your schools better, we're going to make your neighborhood safer, and we're going to bring more jobs to urban centers so that you minority families have access to the opportunities that you, frankly, disproportionately have not had access to over the last 50 years?
Well, let's face it, people have been trapped in inner cities in a cycle of poverty and dependency and despair for decades. All these liberal, progressive programs haven't worked. In many respects, they've exacerbated the problems as out-of-wedlock birth rates have skyrocketed, and that nuclear family, which is the building block of any successful society, has been weakened. So you just have to take a look at the results. I mean, I'm a business guy. I'm an accountant. You actually have to look at metrics in terms of whether programs have worked and they haven't. And unfortunately, and I mean unfortunately, the war on poverty has been a miserable failure. We haven't solved poverty. We haven't broken that cycle. We've strengthened that cycle, if anything. And so, I firmly hope that Donald Trump follows through on that. For my own part, we've been working with church in the inner city on something we call the Joseph Project, helping people turn their lives around. People that have been formerly incarcerated, drug or alcohol abusers, people down their luck that want to turn their lives around. We've been setting them up with job interviews, a week's worth of basic training, and they're getting jobs and being retained greater than 70%. Showing that when you outsource your compassion to the federal government, it hasn't worked very well. Compassion needs to be implemented and demonstrated in your communities, and that's we've got to show up. We've got to dedicate ourselves to making sure that every American has the educational and job opportunities that the rest of us enjoy.
And as a businessman, healthcare is a business. So how will Republicans replace Obamacare?
Well, first of all, I think we've got to do it step by step, and we've got to start showing those reforms up front. I'm not one of these guys that, just repeal the taxes and the subsidies, leaving all the market reforms in place that are the reason that premiums have skyrocketed. We've got to look at this in total, but from my standpoint, what we should start doing is utilize this approach, repair the damage that's been done by Obamacare, and start transitioning to something that actually works, step by step. But our first focus is repair the damage. Nobody's talking about what has caused premiums in Wisconsin to double and triple on the individual market. Well, it's all those market reforms that, truthfully, last time we voted to repeal Obamacare, those market reforms were basically left off the table because we think, we don't really know, we haven't tested it, that we probably can't do that with just 51 votes in a reconciliation process. So we need to test the parliamentarian on that. But I would love to see the basic market reforms brought up. Let's start voting on these things. Let's see where the Democrats will actually join us in fixing or repairing the damage of Obamacare. They should, but if they're never put to the test, they won't.
Going back to your business background in manufacturing, I wonder how you're interpreting some of the announcements that have taken place and the meetings that have taken place even before Trump is inaugurated. U.S. Steel announcing a disposition to create 10,000 American jobs. IBM talking about 50,000 jobs over a few years. Now, there's been countervailing announcements, too, from GM and Boeing about reductions in payroll. But then just yesterday, Trump had a meeting with Alibaba chairman Jack Ma, of course, the big Chinese online retail giant, and Ma saying that they were having a conversation about how to create 1 million U.S. jobs over 5 years. What's your interpretation of these meetings Trump is having with investors and job creators and some of the announcements that we've heard from some of the biggest companies in the world between November 8th to present?
Well, my preference is overall to make America a more attractive place for business investment, expansion, and job creation and wage growth. And you do that by reducing the regulatory burden, which Donald Trump is completely committed to doing, standing up a competitive tax system, utilizing our energy resources. So overall, I think that's the policy goals of this administration, is make America a more attractive place for business investment, so people have the incentive for keeping jobs in their manufacturing here in America. Now, I'm a manufacturer. I looked at the potentially spreading manufacturing around the world. I always decided not to do it, whether I looked in Europe, whether we looked in China, because we've got the rule of law here. We've got great workers, certainly in Wisconsin, around the country. We just need to make sure that we have a reasonable regulatory environment and competitive tax system and keep energy prices low. So that's I think the overall approach. I don't have a problem with any president doing a little gentle persuasion on an individual basis, but I think our primary emphasis, and of course he has to be president first to do this, is enact the regulatory reform, reduce this massive burden, $2 trillion per year, $14,800 per household per year is the cost of complying with federal regulations. So we've got to reduce that burden, and that's the better way of approaching it.
He is Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson. Senator Johnson, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Thank you. And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
So quickly, President Obama, they're moving out, getting their things packed up, and they have that play set outside near...
Yeah, for Josh Earnest.
No, for Sasha and Malia.
Oh, right, of course.
And he offered it to Trump's grandkids. We'll keep it up there if your kids and grandkids, because his son is 10, want to play on the play set, and they said no.
He doesn't want anything built by Obama around.
Yeah, you're right. So they donated it to family in need.
Another shovel-ready project.
Forecast for today, warm. Oh, yeah. But there's going to be rain on and off throughout the day. 39 degrees right now, going up to a high of 45 degrees. And tomorrow, I should say, a thick cloud cover with a shower in the afternoon, a high of 42 degrees. Let's see how that inbound Kennedy's doing, Jim Telemonte.
Amy, you're not going to like the answer. It's brutal. It is an hour and 17 minutes from O'Hare to downtown, slow all the way in. It's 50 minutes from Montrose, 45 in the Express, outbound 48 minutes downtown to the airport. Edens, 32 minutes Lake Cook to the Kennedy, outbound 29. The Eisenhower, an hour and 22 minutes Thorndale to the post office, an hour and 3 minutes from Manheim, outbound 52 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound okay. The Ryan, 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Tri-State, heavy Washington to 176, northbound jammed Archer to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue, Veterans Memorial slow Boughton to the Reagan Tollway, Butterfield to St. Charles, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
The website upstream-ideas.com, upstream-ideas.com. Go there and sign up for content that complements what we do here on this show. Long-form interviews this week. Steve Cortez, Trump campaign surrogate, head of his National Hispanic Advisory Council. Commentaries, man-on-the-street interviews, follow the logic. We see this week if some University of Chicago students can follow the logic, as well as podcasts of our Illinois Rising Sunday program, which focuses on state policy and politics. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Mike Rowe here. Today I'm with Frank, one of the heating and cooling pros at 1 Hour. Frank's got his head up a vent right now. How's it going up there? Frank knows what he's talking about. He's been with 1 Hour for how long, Frank? 14 years. That's a long time. Over that time, he's worked on tons of different equipment, taken countless hours of training, and that makes Frank the man.
No, Mark Rose the man.
I'm sorry, Frank. Say again?
Mike Rose the man.
I heard him the first time. For any heating need, call 855-1 Hour today. Say it again, Frank.
Mike Rose the man.
That's what I'm talking about. Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Let's say you did a cost-benefit analysis of credentials. Would you end up picking the CPA, CFA, or CMA? Well, if you wanted a career in management accounting, you'd pick the CMA. It demands a mastery of the 11 most crucial practice areas in management accounting and can help you earn 31% more than your non-certified peers. Proof that in a cost-benefit analysis of the CMA, there's a lot more benefit than cost. The CMA certification. You've got to earn it.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, yeah. Who sings this song?
US 3, right? Yeah.
Bitty bitty bop.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Michelle Obama, I'm sure you watched her on Friday. Wow.
Of the way we were when we had the place out in the West Lawn.
The way she was, she wasn't proud of this country until her husband became president.
Let me tell you something. For the first time in my adult lifetime, I'm really proud of my country.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
She's come a long way. So,
baby.
Her 8 years in the White House, she's championed education, fitness, helped military families. And as she was leaving on Friday, she was...
Bring back our girls. She started hashtag campaigns.
She did. And some of those girls have been returned and some are still being held captive. But she was with educators on Friday, and it was her last speech. And she just wanted to say thanks, Stan, because it's been a nice 8 years.
Being your first lady has been the greatest honor of my life. And I hope I've made you proud. Thank you. For all the young people in this room and those who are watching, know that this country belongs to you, to all of you. Do not ever let anyone make you feel like you don't matter or like you don't have a place in our American story, because you do.
Except the deplorables.
And you have a right to be exactly who you are.
Except if you're clean,
I want our young people to know that they matter.
Except if you're a
white
white
belong.
guy.
So don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
You hear me? Young people, don't be afraid. Be focused.
So this is, it's her last speech at the White House, but she is going to be, are you ready? On The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon on Wednesday. That will be her final late show appearance.
Oh, boy. Thanks for that. Is she going to be the fluffer tonight before President Obama's speech? Is she going to warm up the audience?
Well, they're going to play that
is she going to hold the applause
montage
sign?
with all the actors.
Oh, yeah.
Before he goes on. But you know what? It's going to be a surprise. I think they'll surprise us with Sasha, Malia, and Michelle Obama. That's just my prediction.
It'll be Grant.
It's not just President Obama. It's the first family.
It'll be Grand Park Redux.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bookended.
I wish I could have gone. Just because I was there from the beginning. I was there in the middle. I wanted to be there at the end. But you know what? Duty calls as a parent.
The other
things to do with my children.
You said duty. The other thing about
Honor.
the other thing about that is you'll have the Chicago Press Corps at McCormick Place weeping like they wept when he was elected in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's going to be something to see.
Tickets are still available on
I bet they
Craigslist
are.
and eBay. Prices are, there's still some for sale for $3,000, $2,500, some for sale for $150. And it's interesting to see where these tickets are being sold from, the south side, the west side, and in Lakeview. A lot of people are trying to make some money, if you know what I mean. Who live in Lakeview.
Right, of course, because they don't believe in theory what they do in practice, which is to practice capitalism. Here's a question for you. Your favorite Obama accomplishment? Ooh, a tumbleweed just rolled by. What's yours?
The killing of Osama bin Laden.
Mine is his protestation of how successful he's been, despite his manifest failure. That's what I like. A guy who's, very much in keeping with the times, has no self-esteem problem, sans accomplishment.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The secret to how the rich keep getting richer is by passing down their wealth, generation to generation. If you do the same thing, you'll be leaving a legacy and be doing one of the most important things possible for the people you love. The ugly truth is, you don't have an estate plan. Everything you own, including your house, cars, investments, everything could be tied up in courts for a year or longer. It could cost your estate tens of thousands of dollars in probate and legal fees, even double government taxation. You can avoid this painful, costly mistake by contacting Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group. Tom hosts the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard Saturday mornings at 9 on AM 560, and has been a featured expert on Fox Business, Fortune, and Money Magazine. Right now, Alpha Wealth Group is offering you a free estate planning kit if you call 630-873-6326. That's 630-873-6326. 630-873-6326. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Oh, boy. Hey, do you need to sell your home now? Has it been on the market so long your listing expired? Well, I know the man who will absolutely sell your home right now, and it's Saul Z and the Z team, and he needs homes right now all over Chicago and the Chicagoland area. Now, Saul's database of thousands of buyers are looking for homes in the $250,000 to $750,000 range. There's probably a buyer for you right now, so don't wait. On average, Saul sells a home every single day. No other agent sells your home quicker or for more money. He's so confident that he'll sell your home that he offers a 59-day guarantee. That's right. List your home with Saul. If it's not under contract within 59 days, Saul sells it for free without his commission. Again, 59 days or he'll sell it for free. And Saul needs homes to sell right now. So contact Saul Z and the Z team at callsaul.net. That's call, SAUL.net, or dial the number 888-346-0666. That's 888-346-0666. And please tell Saul that I sent you. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Israeli Deputy Prime Minister Michael Oren at 8:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
In Chicago, we have cloudy skies, 37 degrees, and very gusty winds out of the south at 20 miles an hour. Authorities back in control of a maximum security prison in Massachusetts after a riot erupted overnight in Shirley, Massachusetts. Senate confirmation hearings start today for President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet picks. First up, hearings for Attorney General nominee Jeff Sessions, opposed by a Senator, Cory Booker.
We've seen consistently Jeff Sessions, as Senator Jeff Sessions, voting against everything from the Matthew Shepard Act, voting against or speaking out against key ideals around the Voting Rights Act.
Hearings are also set to begin for retired Marine General John Kelly, up for Homeland Security Secretary. A jury will soon decide whether Dylan Roof should receive the death penalty or life in prison for the killing of 9 at a church in Charleston, South Carolina. A $60,000 reward now being offered for information leading to a cop killer. Convicted felon Markeith Lloyd is accused in the fatal shooting of Orlando Police Master Sergeant Deborah Clayton. Police around the U.S. are investigating at least 16 bomb threats against the Jewish community, centers, and buildings in 9 states. Classes at St. Charles East High School canceled today after around 800 students called in sick yesterday. And President Barack Obama prepping to return to the city that launched his unlikely political career. The president's speech before thousands tonight is his last chance to wrap up and define what his presidency meant for America. Chicago sports, Oklahoma City over the Bulls, 109-94. Clemson, a 35-31 win over Alabama in the College Football National Championship game. The news, a service of LifeLock, grabbing coffee or breakfast. If you swipe that card, you'll leave a trail of digital information that thieves can use to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to LifeLock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Mike Gallagher Show.
Today's Democratic Party, the party that thinks it's unreasonable to expect that a voter show their ID in order to cast a ballot. It's just blatant. They are just on the side. I don't know how else you describe it. If you're a Democrat and you resent this accusation, please call me. When I say Democrats are on the side of lawlessness, tell me where I'm wrong.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's Galaxy's free sale. Free installation, free design, and free financing.
773-783-8300. Call Galaxy.
Last winter was pretty much a piece of cake, but this winter, we're told, is gonna be a doozy.
Well, the Farmer's Almanac forewarns that bitterly cold, if not downright frigid, numbing cold weather will be predominating over these parts this winter.
Not looking good, but you can be ready. Smart businesses rely on Air Comfort to keep them and their customers warm this expected frigid winter. Air Comfort is one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with dedicated factory-trained technicians that take a scientific approach to analyzing your system. They have comprehensive year-round preventative maintenance programs and emergency service, plus design, build, and install equipment for new construction and retrofits of existing mechanical systems. Now is a great time to call Air Comfort and schedule an analysis of your company's mechanical system by their certified award-winning engineering team. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And like after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
8:37, let's check the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Well, at least the Edens is improving. It's 23 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose. Outbound 30, but the Kennedy is an hour and 17 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 50 minutes from Montrose, 45 in the Express. Outbound 48 to the airport. Crashing Bryn Mawr in the 2 left lanes. The Eisenhower is an hour and a half from Thorndale to downtown, an hour and 10 minutes from Manheim, outbound 52 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 39 minutes. Ryan, 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Tri-States, though, 21 to 60. Northbound Stop and Go, Archer to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Veterans Memorial, slope out to the Reagan Tollway, the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, windy day ahead, milder periods of rain showers and a high of 45. Currently 37. Next news at 9, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, among the things that Trump will need to repair, and he seems well poised to do it based on the things that he has said about Israel and Bibi Netanyahu and what Prime Minister Netanyahu has said about Trump and their relationship. They know each other. But there much damage to repair, it would seem, particularly with the actions and the statements out the door of the Obama administration, in particular, the UN resolution we've talked about regarding settlements, which was rebuked to the administration. The Obama administration rebuked by House Republicans in a resolution passed last week, which included the support of 100 Democrats, by the way, almost 100 Democrats, rebuking the United States, the Obama administration, not the United States, but the Obama administration for allowing the UN to issue yet another declaration against Israel. As Jonah Goldberg has reported, 62 against Israel in the last decade, 55 against all other countries in the world, including some of the most totalitarian and despotic regimes, some of which who haven't been sanctioned at all. So it says a little something about the UN, too. But more importantly, in terms of U.S. policy with respect to our ally in the Middle East, Israel, John Kerry had this to say last week.
Despite our best efforts over the years, the two-state solution is now in serious jeopardy. The truth is that trends on the ground, violence, terrorism, incitement, settlement expansion, and the seemingly endless occupation, they are combining to destroy hopes for peace on both sides and increasingly cementing an irreversible one-state reality that most people do not actually want.
For more on this, we're pleased to be joined, this is a real treat, by Michael Oren, who's Israel's deputy prime minister. He's a former Israeli ambassador to the United States. Deputy Prime Minister Oren, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great to be with you, Dan. Amy, good morning.
Good morning. So John Kerry went on in that speech to say this. He said, essentially, Israel can choose to be a Jewish state or a democratic state. It cannot, small d, it cannot be both. How do you react to that statement?
It's interesting that the Secretary of State can determine our identity for us. We don't pretend to dictate America its identity. The fact is, John Kerry's speech struck Israelis as deeply detached from our reality and basically very insulting, too. There was no mention of the fact that Israel has made two offers of a Palestinian state to the Palestinian Authority. Both of them were turned down. That 1,000 Israelis were killed by suicide bombers in an effort to reach a two-state solution. That in 2005, we pulled all of our settlements out of Gaza, ripped them up, 21 settlements. And we didn't get peace. We got 24,000 rockets fired at us. No mention of this at all in John Kerry's speech, or the fact that the Palestinians have not negotiated with us for 8 years. They refuse. And actually, most insulting of all is Israel, Dan and Amy. Israel accepts the formula of two states for two peoples, but the Palestinians do not. I mean, not a single Palestinian leader accepts that formula. They'll say they want a two-state solution, but they won't recognize the Jewish people as a people with a right to self-determination in our homeland. By the way, we recognize the Palestinians as a people with the right to self-determination in their homeland. They simply won't reciprocate. So the speech struck us as deeply unfair and detached.
And then, of course, this week, another terrorist attack that made headlines. ISIS, I believe, claimed responsibility for the murder of 4 soldiers, a truck attack, as we have seen in Germany and Nice, elsewhere. Any response from the administration to some of what you've just described, as well as this latest terrorist attack last week?
Well, the administration condemned it. We were very happy to see that some of our European friends, for the first time, came out with not just strong statements but demonstrations. The German government basically projected the Israeli flag on the Brandenburg Gate, and I can't tell you how much that meant to us. We'd like to see the Israeli flag projected on the Washington Memorial one time when we had a terrorist attack. The way in Israel we mark 9/11. I'm actually on a road driving home right now, and I'm passing the very large 9/11 memorial that we have in the Jerusalem Hills. That's the way we feel about the United States as our ultimate ally, and we feel the pain of the United States. We'd like to see the same type of expressions of sympathy from Washington.
So you must be looking forward to a Trump administration, and what issue do you think he'll tackle first?
Well, we don't interfere with internal U.S. policy. The United States is again, our ultimate ally. Support for Israel in the United States is close to an all-time high. You mentioned the congressional action that condemned the American position in the Security Council, and as you mentioned, that was a bipartisan vote, overwhelming support from Republicans and from most Democrats too. That says something about what American public opinion about Israel is. It's an alliance between two peoples. Yes, we've had some serious differences with the Obama administration about the peace process. Even more seriously for our purposes, the Iran nuclear deal, which virtually all Israelis view as a very dangerous deal for us. And we'll be looking forward to discussing new approaches to those two issues with the incoming Trump administration. I'm not going to get involved with it now. He's not even sworn in yet.
Okay. Now, on the Iranian deal, though, specifically, there are, because this has been a kind of bit of a point of contention in political discourse here, whether Donald Trump can, quote unquote, tear up that deal on day one, if there is a way to unring that bell with respect to, the opinion of people who oppose the deal, like myself, would be the Obama administration providing a glide path to a nuclear Iran. Is there a way to undo the damage, if you believe that sort of damage was done by this outgoing administration?
Well, we have some ideas, and we'll be sharing them with the president when the prime minister and Prime Minister Netanyahu makes his first visit to Washington during the new administration. But what I can say generally is that two of the fundamental flaws in this deal, which made it very dangerous for Israel, but not just for Israel, we believe also for the Middle East, the world, and America, was the lack of any connection between the nuclear deal and a change in Iran's behavior. Iran is the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. Iran is moving forces into Syria, into Iraq, into Yemen. And it is violating flagrantly UN restrictions on missile development. By the way, the missiles are not designed to hit us. They're designed to hit you. They don't need an intercontinental missile to hit Israel, but they need one to hit the United States. And no connection between the deal and the behavior. And then we have to plan for the future. 9-10 years is not that long from now. The Prime Minister Netanyahu said that 9-10 years is a young man's idea of a long time, not from my perspective. And that regime is liable to be the same regime or even a worse regime in 10 years when, under the terms of the nuclear deal, it can make not one but hundreds of nuclear weapons very swiftly with complete legitimacy. And what will that mean for the Middle East and the world? And it's crucial for Israel's future safety. We believe for the safety of the United States and the world that those basic issues and flaws in the agreement be addressed.
Much has been made over the last couple of months, including by the Obama administration, about this $38 billion military aid deal the United States struck with Israel. And that's supposed to be an indication of Obama's support for the Israeli state and its security. And, how should we interpret that? Is the Obama record in terms of support something that you look at as mixed? There are highlights and lowlights, or is that deal, the military aid deal I'm speaking of, something that's being used as a way to describe our support for Israel, and that's too myopic a view. It needs to be largely understood as, yes, support for Israel, but more an investment by the U.S. in our own security interests in that region of the world.
And beyond that, yes. This was a renewal of a 10-year memorandum of understanding that was originally signed by George Bush, and it's set to expire early in 2018. And President Obama has renewed the commitment and updated some of the sums to reflect some of the challenges we're facing. And we're deeply appreciative of that aid. Make no mistake about it. We view that as one of the core and one of the pillars of the U.S.-Israel alliance. And it is true that President Obama has approved more security support, security cooperation with Israel than any other previous administration. We cannot say we're more secure because of it, because of, for example, the UN resolution, which could expose us to boycotts and sanctions, and the Iran nuclear deal. But we are appreciative of the aid. Now, the aid is widely misunderstood. Under this new agreement, eventually all that aid will be spent in the United States. It's America that will basically, in a way, kind of subsidize American arms industry, and Israel will benefit from that. We will get the benefit of those arms. So it's kind of a win-win situation. But I think more importantly is to note that Israel is the only stable, democratic, unreservedly, unabashedly pro-American ally that the United States has in this crucial region. And it's because of Israel that countries all around us don't collapse. And for, I think, a very wise investment per year, there are no American troops here. There are no American battleships here. Americans don't have to fight here because we're doing it for you. We can defend ourselves and we can defend our region. And increasingly, even Arab states who that once viewed us as enemies now view us as allies. They understand that Israel is vital for their protection and vital for American interests as well. So the aid, I believe, is a very prudent investment indeed.
And to that point, you kind of alluded to it at the outset of our conversation, but I really want you to address it straight away because during the controversy over this UN resolution and the John Kerry speech, you had a lot of left intellectuals addressing this two-state solution prospect. Peter Beinart, who's seen as a bit of a center leftist, now he's a professor at CCNY, essentially said, and this was echoed by others on the left in this country, that Israel is on the cusp of becoming an apartheid state. Very, very strong language, and I wanted to get you to react to that.
First of all, if I had been a victim of South African apartheid, I'd be deeply offended by that assertion. There's no apartheid here. There are no separate restaurants. There are no separate bathrooms. Arabs and Jews shop together. I'm in the Knesset where there are 15 Arab members. Where's the apartheid in Knesset? And they have complete freedom of expression. They scream at me all the time in Knesset. But first of all, I'd be offended by that assertion. Yes, we have a complicated situation with the Palestinians. On one hand, we both claim the same homeland. And I'm a person, I would be considered a moderate in Israeli politics, who believe that we should limit where we build settlements and that we should work to lay the foundations for a two-state solution. But the last thing I want is for a Palestinian state to be created tomorrow. It would have no national institutions. It would have a corrupt, unelected leadership and totally incapable of defending itself. Mahmoud Abbas, Palestinian president, owes his life to us. We save him all the time. If we were to pull out of the West Bank tomorrow, it would fall to Hamas at best, ISIS at worst, within a matter of hours. So we've seen huge states like Iraq and Syria fall apart. We don't need another failed state here under the control of jihadists. So we have to be realistic about this. It's very nice for someone to sit in CCNY or whatever and dictate about our reality, but our lives are at stake here and the lives of our children. And we can't afford to engage in fanciful daydreams about a Middle East that doesn't exist. We've seen enough. I've seen more than enough of that in recent years. We're dealing with a reality here. On the other hand, Israel should take the steps that will ensure its continued survival and thriving as a democratic and Jewish state. And in fact, for most Israelis, the status quo is preferable to creating a state which will become like Gaza or like Lebanon, just another massive launching ground for rockets against us.
He is Michael Oren, Israeli Deputy Prime Minister. He's a former Israeli ambassador to the United States. He's also a noted historian and accomplished author. A couple books I recommend, Power, Faith, and Fantasy. And I think it's your most recent offering, Ally, My Journey Across the American-Israeli Divide. Michael Oren, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
And thank you. And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
If you own or manage a company with recycling needs, your goal is to maximize profits while minimizing waste. Chicagoland is home to a leading recycling company stacked with experts in the latest technology and innovation to effectively manage a wide range of industrial waste, including paper, plastic, cardboard, pallets, as well as shredding and document destruction. For over 3 decades, eco and profit-conscious companies have depended on Combined Resources, Inc. for customized strategies and solutions based on company operational processes. Clients work directly with a Combined Resource partner to ensure first-rate customer care, commitment, and convenience. It's easy to find out how your company can benefit from their first-rate recycling services. Request a free audit by calling 630-916-1804 or visit combinedresources.us. Maximizing recycling profits and minimizing waste. That's 630-916-1804 or online at combinedresources.us.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spaveri, CEO of Spaveri's Custom Counters, a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spaveri's is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
I'm Christopher Nowak, a real estate agent with Castline Properties here in Chicago. One of the things that my company prides itself on is always answering the phone, and that's why I love working with Townstone Financial, because they do the same thing. There's a lot of people in our industry that don't do that, and it might seem like a basic thing, but at the end of the day, this is the little stuff that separates our customer service, Townstone Financial's customer service, from the competition.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111, or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
Hey, Pete, 20 more pallets backing up right now. Come over here with the forklift. Don't bring them in here, man. We've got no place to put them, and we're officially out of room, buddy.
JRC Warehousing.
Well, we're getting 20 pallets dumped right here whether we like it or not. Well, unless they get stored in your living room, I don't know what to tell you.
JRC Warehousing.
It says right here in our inventory system that we have room for 50. And you're going to trust a control system that's older than my great-grandparents?
JRC Warehousing.
We can't be the only place that's run a storage room before, man. Think. Yeah, how about I go buy one of those magic wands for you? Good luck.
JRC Warehousing offers complete solutions for your warehouse and trucking demands. No magic wands needed. Trucking requirements? No problem. Warehouse storage? No problem. Pull a rabbit out of your hat by calling JRC Warehousing for a no-obligation needs analysis and quote. 847-329-5030. That's 847-329-5030. Or visit jrcwarehousing.com.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth. I had a failed root canal, and it was causing me pain. Dr. Naruzzi took care of my tooth, and I got my implant, and then I had another after that fail, and he did that one as well. And the experience was, they were amazing. It was not painful at all like I thought it was going to be, and I was very, very, very nervous about the whole thing. Nobody enjoys getting, implants or dental work. and I procrastinated, but I had to have it done. And he took me in immediately and took care of it. And he made it really affordable. They're very accommodating to people that cannot afford to have it done. I would recommend Dr. Neruzzi to anybody, and I have given him referrals. My own sister had hers done by him.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
You know, Yahoo recently admitted to scanning hundreds of millions of email accounts for the U.S. government. Could they be the only tech company that did this? What about Gmail, AOL, MSN, Hotmail? Having a free email address isn't really free when your privacy is compromised. Listen to this. These so-called free email services make these companies billions of dollars. They scan your emails, target you with unwanted advertising, and charge advertisers big bucks. It's time to escape the free email scam. Take control of your privacy by getting a Reagan email address at ReaganPrivacy.com. ReaganPrivacy.com won't scan your emails, and they won't share your personal information or emails with government agencies. ReaganPrivacy.com leaves you alone. They believe in freedom and personal privacy, just like Ronald Reagan did. Get your private email address, your private Reagan email address today. ReaganPrivacy.com. Price starts at just $33 a year. Right now, you get 2 free bonus months. For as little as 9 cents a day, you can take back your privacy. ReaganPrivacy.com. That's ReaganPrivacy.com.
Well, we've had a wonderful morning here. I love seeing Jeff Sessions' little granddaughter on his lap.
If that is his real granddaughter.
Rent-a-grandchild. We're back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now let's go into the newsroom. Was it his real grandchild? Here's Mike Scott.
A blustery day ahead. That question and more being answered as Jeff Sessions is on Capitol Hill. Fox with the latest. WIND Chicago News Time. 9 o'clock.